Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world, welcome to Virtual Auto Sports here live on Twitch TV. I'm Dustin Moore, and tonight is week number 3 in Season 31 of the Forza Spec Racing Series, and it has been an exceptional start to this season. And because it is, in fact, week number 3, after the first race tonight, which happens there at Road Atlanta, as you can see on the screen, that marks the halfway point in the season. Can you believe it? Already halfway through Season 31. And then our second race of the evening, heading out to the Indianapolis Brickyard Speedway. That'll be the start of the second half of the season. Although, after tonight's racing, you'll have to take a little bit of a break from us here. Not only on Virtual Auto Sports, but the Forza Spec Racing Series. Going to take a 2-week hiatus there as the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve holidays happen on the forthcoming Tuesdays, and then picking back up on January the 7th is when race 7 and 8 will happen, with your finale on January 14th out at Silverstone. Exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings, because that really is the heart of the storytelling here this evening. Where's my snow? Where's my snow? I don't know where the snow is at. Oh, no. Well, we need the snow. We got to have snow. Let me try to cycle it. Oh, no. It's not working. I wonder if the site's down. Anyway, well, that's a bummer. No snow, no flurries falling down, but it doesn't matter. All the important stuff you need to know is right there on screen. AMS Huracan with 97 points. That comes from week number 1. So week 2, at least for now, is Huracan's drop week. Crimson jumped up a spot, and you can see the nifty little pluses and minuses next to the name annotating their change in position on the leaderboard with relation to where they were last week, entering week number 2. Crimson jumped up a spot over AMS Storm, who dropped down to 3rd with 93 points. Cratrium in 4th. He jumps up a spot over Mesosphere. Mesosphere, if you remember, did not race in week number 2. And as I take a look at the lobby, I don't currently see Mesosphere in there. I could be wrong. I might be overlooking. But I don't. I don't see Meza in there. Hopefully here in the next, 18 minutes or so, we'll get Mesa in here along with other drivers. Nomad, coming out of the woodworks, out of nowhere, jumps up to 6th. And yes, that's plus 18 because week number 1 did not participate. Showed up in week number 2, grabbed himself 77 points. Funtang, as a result of Nomad's appearance, drops down a spot to 7th with 74. Slipstream, also new in week number 2, or showing up for the first time there in week number 2, with 72. Then you see Blister Gypsy, Chaos Fox, T-Phrase, Barf Monkey, Celtic or Celtic Warrior, Weiss Lancelot, Fear the Fun, Soul Motion Fire, Born as Ghost, Lucas, Joe Beardy, Modern Weapon, Iceman Misfit, Odd Drex, Ronan, and Skier Kid. And there's 3 other names that don't fit on the list. If you're not the top 24, well, we just don't see you unless you get back up into the top 24 the following week. So there you go. There's a look at the standings. Only 2 drivers stayed in the same position. Huracan and Born as Ghost in 1st and 17th, respectively. 97 and 42 points, respectively. A lot can change, though, however, because with the drop week in effect, yes, out of the first 2 weeks, we took everybody's lowest of the 2 and dropped that. But now here we go into week number 3, where we're going to have accumulation of 2 weeks worth of points. And so that'll change things. Could be dramatic, depending on how things pan out here this evening. And then, of course, week 4 and 5 that we pick up in 2020. 2020. Man, can you believe it? We're, 16 days away? If not closer to the new year. Just mind-boggling. I know we say it every year, right? You always hear people every single year. It's like one of those proverbial cliche conversation starters. You're like, oh my gosh, where did the year go? 2019, such a blur. Before you know it, we'll be rolling into the new year and starting anew. And then you go into the new year, and then before you know it, it's August, and then we do it all over again. Yeah, a lot to be thankful for myself in 2019. A lot that I wish was better about 2019. But that's unfortunately that's life. Life gives you the good with the bad, or I should say the bad with the good. And so fingers crossed, knock on wood, all of that fun stuff, that 2020 is a much better year for one and all. And we'll talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. That's the big thing here on today's cast that isn't necessarily racing related, is that we're gonna ask some of our drivers. That's the beauty of today's technology, is that not only do we get to watch virtual racing happening before us here with drivers scattered all across the country, all across the globe, but then also we get to chat with them. And one of the questions that I'm going to ask every single one of the drivers here tonight is, what is your 2020 resolution? Now, let me just go ahead and preface that I'm not expecting anything serious. You don't have to come in here and you tell me that, I'm gonna lose X number of pounds of weight, and I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. I'm gonna be super philanthropic. I'm gonna donate X number of dollars. I'm not looking for anything super serious. You can come in here and tell me, you know what, Dustin, as long as I wake up on January 1st, I'm happy. Or you can be serious with it. Whatever works for you. But all of our drivers, just know that if you go to that driver spotlight, I'll be looking for that 2020 resolution. What is it that you want to accomplish in the new year, whether it be super aspirational or easily achievable? There is a good way to describe it. So if you are wanting to participate in the Forza Racing Championship of 2020, maybe that's one of your New Year's resolutions, is that you want to see yourself racing competitively in the FRC. Perhaps you want to purchase a new vehicle and you want to throw a new car in the garage or in the parking space outside your residence. Maybe that's it. Maybe you just want to, maybe you just want to get through the year without something negative happening to you. Maybe you had something happen here in 2019 that has you, kind of running ragged and feeling down, but maybe 2020 is an opportunity for you to just say, hey, you know what? As long as nothing bad happens to me, I'll be good. I'll be set. So whatever it is, drivers, that's what I'll be looking for, in addition to obviously talking about the race. And let me go ahead and jump back over to the standings here. And yeah, I'm so sad that the snow is not working. The snow was working yesterday because I did some of the promo stuff on the Twitter with it, but for whatever reason, it's not working here today. Slow Motion Fire telling me they're in the pit lane that I'm fired because there's no snow. So, and I was actually going to bust out with the Christmas music that we ran last year during the pre-roll of the Virtual Autosports broadcast, but unfortunately that Christmas music loop was like 16 minutes long, and the countdowns here for the Forza Racing Championship on Tuesdays, I only run it for about 6 or 8 minutes, so I wasn't going to throw on the Christmas music and have us sitting here through Carol of the Bells over and over and over and over again. I'm going to take a look at the lobby while you all continue to analyze the leaderboard there. Craytrim, Fear the Fun, Corvid is in here. DOR Corvid has joined the grid. Excited to see some new faces, some new names. Corvid, part of DOR, undeniably not new to the Forza franchise. So expect something from Corvid. We're going to find out pretty quickly. Barf Monkey, Chaos Fox is in here. Funtang, Autobahn, Celtic Warriors, Slow Motion Fire, Huracan, Slipstream, Modern Weapon. We've got 12 minutes before qualifying for the first race here of the evening begins. So plenty of time for our drivers of week 2, week 1. Maybe you're not from either of those 2 weeks and you'd like to participate. Get out here in the lobby. If you're watching now and you're curious, how can I race with these guys and gals of the Forza Spec Racing Series, there's a link that Nightbot has dropped into the chat. Perhaps it's a little bit too late to do it here tonight, or maybe you could throw the car together real quick and get out here on the track. Just give Slow Motion Fire a heads up. But even still, if you don't do it here tonight, well then maybe plan to join us in week number 4 or 5, or at the start of the start of season 32, whichever works for you. What's my New Year's resolution, you ask? What is that I hear from the pit lane that is all so quiet here this evening? I don't know why it's so quiet. You guys start sounding off. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? 2 weeks here left in the year. Show up. Say hello there in the chat. Let me know that you're watching. We had a great broadcast last Tuesday. Week 1 was stellar. So we're hoping to keep that momentum going here into week number 3. And then, unfortunately, that 2-week break may hamper things a little bit. But who knows? Maybe week number 4 we show up in a big way on January 7th with a large audience and folks wanting to chit-chat. Proud Beetle saying, "What you talking about, mate? What you talking about, mate? What do you mean chime in and say hello and all that? What are you talking about?" That's horrible. I won't do any accents anymore. I apologize for that. There's your leaderboard once again, and that's entering tonight, and that's with this. These are considered the championship standings. These are the points with a drop week already taken into account. So that means with 2 weeks of racing, we're already negating one of those weeks. But granted, that drop week can shift all throughout the remaining the remaining 3 weeks at this point, the remainder of the season. What's up there, Slow Motion Fire, saying nailed it. Yeah, okay, fine. You like my Aussie accent. You're good with it. Doug Roberts is here. Good to see you, Doug. And anybody else who may be watching us there in the digital world, the virtual landscape of Twitch. A lot of crazy things happening. Twitch is doing all kinds of stuff. I think there's like points now for channels, which I gotta set that up for this channel. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but hey, I'll set them up and maybe you guys can do some cool stuff with points there in 2020. I'm thinking some things over in 2020. For those of you that are maybe new to the broadcast, we entered 2020 on a pretty high note. I was doing broadcasts at least twice a week, plenty of racing. Then in July, we hit it especially hard with 3 days of racing per week with plenty of action going on. I'm evaluating things, and I'll let you know if anything changes for 2020. But just know that wherever I can make some quality of life improvements for you all as the viewers, then I will certainly do that. Drivers, by the way, before we go into qualifying here in the next 7.5 minutes, if you'd like to have a chat, go into that queue for interview section. We'll have a few of you guys here before the qualifying happens. Then maybe we'll talk to a few of you before the racing happens. Heading out here to Road Atlanta, the full circuit. Yes, very excited to be out at the full circuit, 21 laps, but that is after the qualifying session. Proud Beetle saying, but seriously, how you doing, man? I'm doing good, Proud Beetle. It's good to see you. I'm doing great. I'll be excited and happy to share my New Year's resolution here in a little bit once we've got a little bit more people in here and it makes sense for me to actually start saying things that I don't have to repeat later on. So I'll get to mine here in a little bit for anybody who's asking. And then, of course, like I said, we'll ask some of our drivers here. And drivers, yes, please go on over to that queue for interview section. If we don't get you now, then I certainly hope we can get you after the qualifying session and then again after the races, or at least after the first race, and then maybe even after the second race. Get your thoughts on how things have gone through the first half of the season, because, yes, after tonight, we will be more than halfway through season 31. Believe it or not, 5 weeks goes by like that. Super quick. Super quick. We'll get your thoughts on that. I'll ask you your New Year's resolution, and then maybe you could throw some shout-outs out there. Let me know who maybe is watching, cheering you on, supporting you. It's always fun to give shout-outs to the audience. All right, joining me here in the driver's spotlight, I've got the organizer of the Forza Spec Racing Series, Slow Motion Fire. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing good. How about yourself, Dustin?
I'm doing great. I as I was just saying to the viewers, here we are getting ready for race number 5 of the season, the first one here of this evening, which marks the end of the first half of the season. That's crazy how fast things go.
Yeah, it's gone by quick.
gone by quick, and at least in the time that I've been broadcasting these events, and I know people are going to say, but you say this all the time, this season seems especially competitive. What do you make of the field of drivers that we have out here, not only through the first 2 weeks, but it looks like maybe we're adding another or two here in week 3?
We've got some good groups. There's clearly the faster guys at the front, and they kind of stay clustered together. And then there's kind of about 3 groups. The middle group kind of stays clustered together, and the back cars. So everybody's got somebody to race with, and it means there's just action all over the place all the time.
Action all over the place all the time, and that's what we're hoping for here in race number 1 of the evening, Road Atlanta, the full circuit. And if there's any track in Forza Motorsport 7 that I'd say, hey, I think the RS500 would be in its element, it's Road Atlanta. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's one of those, there's been some people that have been able to put down some really quick times here in the car, and there's those of us like myself who are just kind of struggling.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it all pans out. Even if we get a couple of packs of competition, that's always great to see at the front, in the middle, and even a little bit lagging there toward the back. All right, Slow Motion Fire, I'm asking all the drivers, and that includes you, what are you looking forward to in 2020? Maybe what's one of your resolutions?
To be more competitive with our Cougar, our IRL race car.
All right.
We came real close last year a couple times, and we're just kind of on the edge of maybe taking home a class victory. So
okay,
that's what I'm shooting for.
Is there anywhere on the interwebs where we can follow the life of the Cougar, the pitfalls and the successes of the Cougar?
There's just kind of stuff scattered about. There's nothing real official for it. Yeah. So there's pictures of it on Discord.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll have to keep us posted here from week to week. Let us know how things are going. But Slow Motion Fire off to a great season here with FM4 Season 31. Wishing you the best of luck here in qualifying for Race 5.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, there's Slow Motion Fire. And before we head out to the track of Road Atlanta, let's go ahead and rope in LSEM Chaos Fox. Chaos Fox joining us here in the driver's spotlight. And as I look at the leaderboard, finding yourself in 10th position after being in 8th. And unless I'm mistaken, were you out on the track last week?
Yes, I was.
You were. Oh, you were. Okay. All right. So you've got some more competition that's jumped in. We've got Nomad who's shown up in week 2, Slipstream who showed up in week 2. That's what bumped you down a little bit. So some more competition out there. What's gonna take to bring you into the top 8 here once again?
Road Atlanta. I know I'm gonna do decently well. I feel like my strong point's gonna be Indy. I'm very confident with my lap times there during practice. I think it's going to be really close, and I think I'm actually going to be, closer to the top 5 than I've ever been this entire series at Indy. Road Atlanta, I think is going to be interesting because I've been tweaking the setup on the car, and I actually got about another 0.6 off my best lap time not too long ago. So I think it's going to look good for Road Atlanta here. Unfortunately, back on the Alps, I had an incident with Fear. He accidentally collided with my car, and I dropped back to 12th. And I feel like if I didn't have that incident, I probably wouldn't be back in 10th right now. But I got to really push hard these 2 races to try to get back into the top 10. Well, I'm already in the top 10, but I'd be back to 8th.
You're on the fringe of the top 10. No, and I think that's what it was. Is
I'll be very happy with how I come out of this. So that's my goal. I think it's reachable.
All right, so that's your goal for tonight, and welcome back to those of you on Twitch, as it appears that our connection has realigned itself, talking with LSEM Chaos Fox here in the pit lane. go ahead. You got your goal for tonight, but what's your goal for 2020? Share with us what your 2020 resolution is here.
I haven't really put much thought into it. It really put me on the spot here.
Well, you can come back to me after the race. How about that?
Yes. After the race, I'll think about it long and hard as I battle it out at Road Atlanta. How I'm going to figure out my 2020 year.
That's great. That's a great little homework assignment I've given you, is that while you're out there trying to put down your quickest lap time and then do well in the race, think about what your 2020 resolution is. Chaos Fox, good chat with you. Best of luck during qualifying here for race number 5.
Thank you.
All right, folks, and hopefully that is the last of our connection issues here for this evening, as I try to move Chaos Fox out of the interview section so that way he doesn't have to listen to me. But, it's really bothering me because I reset the connection. I reset everything that I could possibly do. Whatever it is, my ISP giving me these little spikes from time to time where we disconnect from the broadcast and then eventually it comes back on. But I hate it. I know you guys, it really bothers you to be interrupted in the race like that. It's not a great experience. Whatever I can continue to do to troubleshoot and resolve that, I will most certainly do. But here we go. We're green right now. I show us in the green. You see the lobby. 18 drivers currently out there. We've got Dior Corvid showing up for the first time here in season number 31. Fear the Fun is there. Cratrium, Huracan, Funtang, Barf Monkey, Autobahn, Celtic Warrior, Chaos Fox, who we just talked to there in the driver's spotlight. Same goes for Slow Motion Fire, Modern Weapon, Joe Beardy, Presto is Besto, CMD Slipstream, T-Phrase, Weiss Lancelot, AMS Storm, and Odd Drex. That's the grid of 18 that we've got here on the track. Slow Motion Fire letting me know that we're about to go racing. Let me go ahead and give you all some audio. 3 laps of qualifying around the 2.54 mile circuit of Road Atlanta. Matt 6661. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, host. If you all are not already following Matt 6661, make sure you give him a follow here on Twitch. Plenty of great, I would even, much better than great, superior driving ability here in the virtual world of Forza Motorsport. So if you want to see even more exciting action, usually during the daytime hours here of North America, then make sure you give Matt 6661 a follow. And yeah, it's great. It's great listening material at work. Matt, you're a funny guy in addition to your racing ability, and so it's fun for me to sometimes just throw you on at work and listen to you have at it there on the track. Often pairs up with Ali and Dino Dad Shadow here on Twitch as well for the Touring Car Tuesdays, which they did here today. And we're watching Riding on Board here with Modern Weapon. I'll go ahead and throw some statistics there in the lower right-hand corner. Give us some best lap information as soon as they cross the line here on the standing start, and then they'll have the flying lap for 2 laps to try to post their quickest time to be up the grid and as high up on the grid as possible for the start. And the beauty here in Season 31 is if you grab the pole position, you dictate when the race starts. So whereas in most lobbies here in Forza Motorsport, you wait for the countdown, and as soon as the countdown hits 0, you go. Well, changing things up here in FM4, the Forza Spec Racing Series, because one, it gives us an opportunity as the spectators, the crowd, the viewers, the broadcast, to see the race start. Unfortunately, in Forza Motorsport 7, the way things are planned out with spectate mode, you don't necessarily get a great view of the start. Well, by doing it this way, it does. And then in addition to that, it gives a little bit more of an incentive to get that pole position. You get to dictate when the race starts. That's a That's a big mind game in the world of racing. If you're the pole sitter, you know when the pack is leaving, or at least when you're going to go. Everybody else is merely guessing. Take a look at the pit lane here, the Twitch chat as it's otherwise known. What's up there, SVR Fallen? Crimson is Corvid. Well, there we go. Now I know. Crimson is Corvid. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Crimson is Corvid. All right, anybody get the reference? SVR Fallen, I mentioned. Ben McKenna saying what's up. Matt saying he's okay. Touring Car Tuesday was amazing as always with Dino Dad's Shadow. Audrex currently with the second quickest time. It's going to be Cratrium who's currently on top. Hey, make that Corvid. The artist formerly known as Crimson. There with a 127.5. And oh, you see Modern Weapon is just going to go ahead and do his best impression of a drift event here at Road Atlanta, as you might be so familiar seeing in YouTube videos and such. It seems like Road Atlanta is an ideal drift track, and that's what I've gathered. Audrex getting around here with 7th place currently in terms of top time. Right now it's Huracan. Huracan moves up with a 127.4. AMS Storm back behind him, so it's AMS Alien Motorsport Buddy in second. Corbin now moves to 3rd. Cratrium in 4th. Barf Monkey, Funtang, Audrex, Fear the Fun, Slipstream, and T-Phrase are your top 10 times, or at least the top 10 drivers right now. Fallen apologizing that he missed the Touring Car Tuesday. Matt saying, "No, it's okay, man. You good? You're good." No, really, it is a good time. Not only on Tuesdays, but all throughout the week whenever Matt is able to stream. So give him a follow there. Click on his name. I think you can just follow right from his name now. I think you can. Storm down the back straightaway here at Road Atlanta. Again, a 2.54 mile. We're in qualifying on the final lap of qualifying, in fact. And then 21 laps of racing here for race number 5. And then that'll be the first half of season 31 in the books before we go into race number 6, which is our second race of the evening, going out to the Indianapolis Brickyard Speedway. No, not the road course. The Brickyard Speedway. The oval. Yes, Ben McKenna saying shout out to AMS Storm, who is racing with his mobile hotspot. So doing the best that he can to, one, make sure his car is not lagging out on the track, but then also posting the quickest time possible. Audrex there with a 128.1. Fear the Fun at a 128.7. And for those of you who may be new to the Forza Motorsport world, you got to ignore the position off to the left and instead take a look at that best lap column. Hopefully, Turn 10 will get that all sorted out for us in the future iteration of Forza Motorsport. And actually, hang tight after the broadcast tonight. Hang tight. And oh no, here we go with the frames again. As I was saying, oh no, there go the frames again. What is going on? What is happening? This is a super bad connection tonight. Please, frames. Please. Please, frames. What are you doing? I know it's hard for you guys to tell because we're just sitting statically on this screen, so you're not missing a lot of the frames, but they're all over the place right now. Frames? Frames? Oh my gosh. Okay. No. What do you mean it's not you? It's not me? Is there like an issue somewhere? Anyway, let me run down some of these times quickly, and hopefully a little bit of CPR. We'll resuscitate our frame situation. Joe Beardy, and again, for those of you who are not or that are new to the Forza Motorsport world, that little triangle with the exclamation mark means that Joe was unable to post a clean time, and as such, has a dirty lap, which will put him at the end of the pack alongside Chaos Fox, who also has a dirty lap. So those two will find themselves toward the back in the caboose. Autobahn with a 132.8. Celtic Warrior, a 135, 138 for Modern Weapon. DOR Corvid, or Crimson, as we formerly knew him. It's going to take me a little bit to acclimate to that. With a 127.2, that's going to put him up on the front row, I do believe, unless AMS Storm or Huracan were able to beat that one. Yes, Huracan with a 127.0, Storm with a 126, a 126.792. So the AMS brothers out on the front row. Crimson, or Corvid, on row number 2. Weiss Lancelot with a 131.0. Slow Motion Fire with a 128.9. 127.4 for Barf Monkey. 134 for Presto. Slipstream with a 128.7. Funtang with a 127.8. Looking sharp, Funtang. AMS Huracan, I just mentioned, with a 127.0. T-Phrase at a 129.0. And Chaos Fox, again, with that dirty lap, a 130.1. So that's where things stand in terms of the top qualifying times. Slow Motion Fire, the very reliable organizer of the event, we'll go ahead and get everybody sorted out on the grid, and we'll get out there for 21 laps of racing around Road Atlanta's full circuit. No Storm thought I was complimenting him. The Verify stream paused momentarily, but it's back. Oh gosh. Oh my. I hope it's okay. I hope that was it. Big Time Toof. Big Time Toof with a meow. Big Time Toof, is that T-Phrase? T-Phrase, did you change your name? Big Time Toof. AMS Storm, plenty more where that came from. Talking about that time, DOR asked me and my Suzuka team to come in, so he did, says Crimson. So that would explain why Crimson is now part of the DOR team. Looking over to the driver's spotlight, and hopefully, fingers crossed that the connection holds up. We've got Weiss Lancelot in there, and Weiss, how was your qualifying out here with Road Atlanta? Are you happy with where you placed on the grid before we get this race kicked off?
I think I'm pretty happy with where I ended up at in the grid for this qualifier. It was pretty good. It was pretty good considering I haven't had much practice aside from yesterday.
Not much practice with the car. I know the Forza Spec Racing Series crew, they all get up and try to get some practice in before the racings. Do you do that, or I don't know. Some people, I think, are a little bit hesitant to do that much practice before the race. What's your mentality? How do you approach it?
I usually pretty much carve a own set of wheels around the track until I get it down in my brain. I haven't had much time to practice.
Does that mean before the race, when they have the practice session, or do you do it on your own time?
I do it on my own time.
Yeah.
Because I'm not somebody that was ever really good at this. I got good through practice.
Awesome. Get good through practice. Yeah. As a lot of Twitch viewers who just kind of anonymously sit behind their keyboard there in the chat, they'll say, yeah, get good. Well, there you go. Weissland's telling you guys that if you got here and do a little bit of like your own practice session, your own qualifying, your own hot lapping, you can get better over time. I was telling Slow Motion Fire, I feel like the RS500 is kind of at home out on this track. It seems like a great track car combination. I asked him if I was wrong. I'll ask you the same thing. Am I wrong or am I right?
Feels like it has potential in this track. It's a bit squirrely with how it is if you got it on the base settings, but once you start tweaking it to your driving style, it feels pretty much right at home once you get into it.
Very good, very good. And Weiss Lancelot, I know we're about to get racing here as the drivers have all readied up, but if you have in your mind what your 2020 plan or goal is, what's something that you want to accomplish here in the new year?
Me? Shoot. I want to go ahead and get a base budget down so that I can save up for a property.
Wow.
For this year. Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Yeah. That's a man who's thinking ahead, saying, hey, let me budget and get myself ready for home ownership. Weiss Lancelot, I wish you the best of luck in that, man, and of course here in the racing tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Weiss Lancelot for you guys there in the driver's spotlight. We'll drop him back in the racer comms, and we'll get ready for racing again. 21 laps here around Road Atlanta. Fortunately here at Road Atlanta, or unfortunately, depending on what you guys are wanting there as spectators, there is no precipitation here in Road Atlanta in Forza Motorsport 7, so we'll be racing either under the cobweb afternoon sky or with clear skies. It really depends. It's a toss-up. It's random here in Forza Motorsport 7. So we'll see what we get. AMS Storm, as you see there, on the pole position. And again, that means he gets to dictate when the race starts. And you'll notice that here at the onset. The drivers will hang tight on the grid, and hopefully they will. We've seen a couple of false starts the last couple of weeks, but folks are getting acclimated to the new format, the new system. And then once Storm moves just any iota, just as soon as people see him start to depart, everybody else can leave. Interesting thing here at Road Atlanta is that the starting grid backs up around the curved final right-hander of the track. So that means that some of our drivers, they might have to do a little bit of steering coming across the line for the start of the race. We'll see how that pans out here for race number 5, season 31 in the Forza Spec Racing Series. AMS Storm there on pole. Opposite of him is AMS Huracan. Crimson back there in the background. Opposite of him is Barf Monkey and Cratrium with Funtang on row number 3. Kick the tires, light the fires, everybody. It is season 31, week number 3. It's the final race of the first half in the Forza Spec Racing Series. RS 500s here at Road Atlanta. 2.54 mile circuit. Up the hill they go. You see the two AMS Alien Motorsport paint jobs. They're unmistakable there, that neon green and black as they come through the chicane. The S is at the top of the hill. Then it's a roll down the hill. You got to be very careful here as we see Storm maybe getting that front end a little bit twitchy here on these rear-wheel drive. 363 horsepower, 299 foot-pounds of torque. RS 500 Ford Sierra Cosworths. Back down another little bit of a downhill slope before you hit the right-hander. Not quite a horseshoe section here as you got a little bit of a flat. It's knocked out the cornering there coming through the double right-handers. Then it's back underneath the Motul Bridge on the back straightaway. And of course, this is where you'll carry a lot more of your speed out there in front. It's AMS Storm, Huracan in second, DOR Corvette, that's Crimson in third, Barf Monkey in fourth, Fear the Fun in fifth, sixth is Cratrium, seventh is Funtang, eighth is T-Phrase, Slow Motion Fire, and Audrex are ninth and 10th. Let's go ahead and move up to third position with Corvette as they go underneath the Road Atlanta Bridge. And here comes this high-speed right-hander. You all know it from multiplayer lobbies. Oh, and there goes Corvette. He's going to slide it through and across the line. He keeps his position, keeps it out of the grass and off the tire wall. Well done. Good recovery. Up the hill they come. Here comes Barf Monkey. He's going to challenge him for position there as Corvette was a little off the pace. Now through the chicane once again, lap number 2. Ben McKenna there in the pit lane telling us that was close. That was very close. How close? Here it is on the Virtual Autosports Instant Replay. Able to save that car was Corvette, and now we see him back here on the rear bumper of AMS Storm. He's closed that gap considerably, and now Fear the Fun is moved up to fourth, and behind him a whole row of cars. Cratrium, Funtang, Barf Monkey, and T-Phrase. Then a little bit of separation. Audrex, Slow Motion Fire. Those two have exchanged positions. Modern Weapon 11th, Chaos Fox back there in 12th position. He posted a dirty lap here during qualifying, so he's going to have to make his way up through the grid. And telling us there in the driver's spotlight prior to qualifying that he wants to see himself in the top 8. He dropped down from 8th to 10th on the leaderboard and now wants to move his way back up, but he's going to have to really make it happen here in week number 3 after a so-so performance in week 2, especially there at the Bernese Alps in race number 4. still hanging out here with Corvid. That Ford Racing RS 500 now falling back about a car and a half, 2 car lengths behind AMS Huracan. Huracan following, actually check that. Huracan is now our race leader with Storm in second. Let's go back to Fear the Fun, who's in 5th. He's now been passed by Craytrim. Craytrim in the Swordfish Motorsport car able to make his way through. Fear the Fun getting off into the grass, able to bring the car back out and then slides it into the left-hander. Futang trying to make a move, not going to be able to do it. Look at that. Barf Monkey looking to the inside of Futang. Wow. Ben McKenna saying, going for style points. Martin 2702, good save. Yes, it was. Corbin with the save of the day so far. We're only 3 laps in, but a good one at that. Back down that back straightaway. Our race leader, it's still Huracan, AMS Storm, and Corvid as they start to establish some separation there on the back straightaway. There comes Craytrim, Fear the Fun, Futang, and Barf Monkey. They're going to go side by side. We're going to hang tight here with Fear the Fun. But it looks like Futang's going to manage to hold on to 6th. Barf Monkey in 7th. T-Phrase in 8th. Audrex and Chaos Fox now from 12th to 10th. Hot Willie Pepper. Thank you for that follow. Jazzy May with the follow. Matt 661 with that host once again. Ninja Basil with the follow. Big Time Tooth with the follow. And Zomboy XO and RPG Force 1 Abs with those follows. Thank you all very much. If you're enjoying the content here on Virtual Autosports, please do click that follow button. Lets me know as the broadcaster that you're enjoying your time here. We'll be racing for the next hour and a half or so. Forza Spec Racing Series season number 31 in the RS 500s. They all have the same upgrades, but what you can do differently as the driver is you can have any assortment of tuning that you want to do to the car. Granted, that's all dependent on the upgrades that have been forced upon you that are mandated here in Season 31. But then in addition to that, you can have a few assists on depending on your driver style. There are a few things that they mandate, but there are a few things that you can set up to your liking as well. Huracan with a good bit of separation now on his buddy Storm. It's not team racing here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, but we've seen Huracan and Storm side by side. How apropos with those names. Back down the hill toward the start-finish line for the beginning of lap number 5. Here comes Corbin, looking a lot more composed this time through than where we saw him at the end of lap number 1. Craytrim in 4th. He's now got a good bit of distance between he and Fear the Fun, who's in 5th. Barf Monkey has gotten around Futang. It's going to be Barf Monkey in 6th, Futang in 7th. And no, I never thought during one of my broadcasts that I would be saying Barf Monkey. Hot Willie Pepper saying, hello, I'm trying to play this game, but it stutters a lot. How is this stream not stuttering? Are you playing? Oh, and there goes Barf Monkey. He's off into the grass, and he's going to slide it up now into the kitty litter. That's going to allow Futang to regain position in a very stylistic fashion. Because Futang himself came through a little bit squirrely up over the top of the hill through the left-hander. And now Barf Monkey will have to hold off T-Phrase and see if he can catch back up with Futang here in the remaining, 15 laps that we have here. 21 for race number 1 of the evening. Let's go up to Storm as he starts to see Huracan not fade into the distance, but definitely starting to detach himself. And there goes Corvid. Let's actually drop back to Corbin and let's take a lap around Road Atlanta here on the hood of Corvid's Ford Motorsport RS 500. Yeah, Hot Willie Pepper, it depends. If you're playing on Xbox, you should be okay because the game is really well optimized. Turn 10 Studios does an exceptional job with its Forza tech to have its games running at 60 frames per second. So there should not be any stuttering. And if you're playing on the PC, then perhaps you just need to make some adjustments to your settings. As a matter of fact, you all can't see it because it's downgraded to 1080p, but I'm running this in 4K, so it certainly runs very, very well. Maybe maybe it requires you to do a clean install, or perhaps, again, if you're on PC, just take a look at your settings and see what can be fixed. But let us know. Give us your specs, or give us whatever there in the chat. We'd love to help fix things for you, and perhaps we'll see you out here on the track. The Forza Spec Racing Series open to drivers of all skill levels, so if you're interested in participating here, take a look at that link, that Nightbot that's just dropped into the chat, and then perhaps we'll see you here in week number 4 or 5, or maybe for the start of season number 32. AMS Storm with Corbin back behind him underneath that Road Atlanta Bridge. It's a very overcast day here in Brazelton, Georgia. 2.54-mile track underneath the Michelin Bridge. They go for the beginning of lap number 7. Looking a little bit further back, Cratrium all on his lonesome. Fear the Fun in 5th. Fotang in 6th. Barf Monkey, who we saw make that mistake a little bit ago through the S's, is there in 7th, out in front of T-Phrase. Check that. Looks like T-Phrase. Well, yeah, he's out in front of T-Phrase because T-Phrase is now in 9th. Chaos Fox is up to 10th, trying to grab a few more positions after qualifying at the back of the pack. So LSEM Fox, that'll be a name to watch here through the remainder of this race as he looks to make his way up through the field. Going to be the hard charger of the night, or at least for race number 5, if he can make a few more spots up. Let's go back a little bit more to T-Phrase there in 9th. Big-time tooth guy, as we know him here on the chat. That Oral B design back behind Audrex, who's in 8th. Yes, this is the final broadcast for Virtual Autosports here in 2019. Still, you'll notice as we go into the driver's spotlight between races, I'm going to talk to our drivers, get their thoughts on the race, but then ask them, what are they looking forward to in 2019? Or excuse me, in 2020. Hopefully we're not looking forward to anything in 2019. Granted, you got a couple of weeks left, so maybe something miraculous can happen, but what do you want to make happen? What do you want to incite? What action are you going to take to make sure that 2020 goes your way? You can drop that in there into the pit lane if you're watching us here on Twitch. But then again, we'll ask some of our drivers here in the driver spotlight, and then I got to give you mine too. I got to tell you what my 2020 resolution is, or at least one of them. At least one of them. Here comes big time tooth guy T-Phrase past the start finish line up the right hander. You see the incline there. Pretty good elevation change here at Road Atlanta. Our leader, it is now Storm. Let's go to Huracan. Huracan and Storm exchanging position. The two AMS drivers out here showing up for, I believe, the first time that since I've been broadcasting here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, and we can validate that by looking at the number boards. If you race with them for the first time, you'll have the orange number board like you see there on the side of Huracan's car. Orange annotating that you're an amateur driver, at least to the series. That doesn't mean that you're an amateur in the world of Forza Motorsport. That just means that it's the first time that you're competing. And then the green number board that you see there on the side of Storm's car representing a return quote-unquote pro driver. Of course, these AMS drivers, they're of the pro-level variety. No matter what year they're in the Forza Spec Racing Series. AMS should be a familiar name for those of you who watch the Forza Spec Racing, or excuse me, the Forza Racing Championship here during the fall, late summer into fall. The spring 2020 season coming up. We don't necessarily have any details. All we know is that the folks over at Turn 10 Studios have said, yeah, it's happening. Ben McKenna, got to get my birthday and Christmas out of the way before I think about New Year's. Oh, come on, Ben McKenna. Come on. Think a little bit ahead. Just thinking two weeks out into the future, that's not looking very far. Look at that. Corbin starting to close in now on the two AMS drivers. If he can make a double pass happen here in the later stage of this race, that'll be exciting to watch. But let's go ahead and drop back a little bit. Once again, it's Cratrim who's by himself right now in 4th, Fear the Fun in 5th, Goatsang in 6th, Barf Monkey in 7th, Audrex in 8th, T-Phrase in 9th, Chaos Fox in 10th. Let's go to Slow Motion Fire, who's there in 12th, back behind Presto is Besto. Gosh, you got to love these liveries. And the great thing about the designs on these cars is a lot of the drivers do these themselves, which is just damn impressive. They're great drivers, great artistes, making their cars look really good out there on the track. Yeah, and Slow Motion Fire at 13th is Weiss Lancelot. We talked to him in the driver's spotlight here before this one. Modern Weapon and Joe Beardy, 14th and 15th. Joe Beardy, unfortunately, one of the drivers that I really had high hopes for, not having a great run here in the RS 500 through the first half of Season 31 in the Forza Spec Racing Series. 16th is Autobahn, 17th is Slipstream, 18th is Celtic Warrior, and that means all 18 drivers who started the race are still out there on the track. Let's return to Corvid in third as they start to approach lap traffic here in the next lap or two. Looking out there, you do see Celtic Warrior in 18th position. That's the beauty here of FM4. Make no mistake, it doesn't matter how many laps you may go down. It doesn't matter if you're fast or slow. As long as you race clean, that's all that's needed. That's the only prerequisite of this league. You race clean, you'll be welcome back week after week. Continue to compete no matter how good or bad you do. Your skill level will go up over time. I guarantee you that. Find yourself a driver out there on the track that you compete best with and make it your mission to beat them. Then after you do, find another driver out the track that you closely compete with and try to best them. Before you know it, you're finding yourself mid-pack, top 10, top 5. Exciting things, and we've seen it happen in the Forza Motorsport community. Drivers show up in year 1, year 2, and they go out there and they just make some drivers look like rookies, like amateurs. That's okay. That's okay. Even if you're one of those veteran drivers who eventually look like rookies out on the track. That's me. That is me. I've been racing in Forza Motorsport since 2005, since the first game dropped, and you'll find me toward the back of the pack in a lot of these races. That's why I broadcast. Here comes Corvid. They're in third, still tracking Huracan. They're in second. Huracan and Storm exchanging first and second there a little bit ago. And now Storm really setting the precedent here. Perhaps posting some super quick times. Simulation damage is turned on, so as you turn laps around the track, that tire degradation starts to come into play. And we saw it really come into play there in week number 2. And as we take a look at the situation of Corvid's car, you see 30%, nearing 30% up front, where all those, where all that weight's going in, and the car is really efforting to turn into these corners with that 363 horsepower placed up front, churning the back wheels. Rear-wheel drive, 2,367 pounds of curb weight are these RS 500s. That's down from the 2,734 pounds that they came with off the factory floor. And speaking of the factory floor, they originated the Cosworth RS 500 model, 206 horsepower, or excuse me, 206 foot-pounds of torque. They're up to 299 here in Season 31, and then 224 stock. And as I just mentioned, we bumped that up to 363 horsepower. That's what they're working with. Lap number 12 of 21, that final, that 22nd lap that you see there in the left-hand corner, that'll be a cool-down lap. What do you guys think of the racing so far? An exceptional race, a season like none other, at least from my perspective. What are your thoughts? Drop that into the chat. I'd love to know what you all think. Let's have ourselves a conversation. Let's keep it family friendly. That's the only thing I ask. But if we keep it on topic with Forza, racing, motorsport, Xbox, you want to talk about Xbox, maybe you want to talk about PlayStation and Gran Turismo, whatever. Let's have ourselves a nice little conversation on a Tuesday evening. Yes, it's a Tuesday evening. Ugh. Let's get through this night, but let's have fun doing it, and then we'll roll into Hump Day tomorrow. Hump Day! Comes Corvid. We continue to hang out with him. There you go. You see Huracan, his car almost pivoting there on the curb. And he's going to run out wide there. through the left-hander. And yes, let me know what your New Year's resolutions are. I'm going to ask the drivers. We talked to Weiss Lancelot. Weiss Lancelot, he's going to set himself up with a budget to save for a house. That guy knows what he's talking about. As somebody who's a communicator in the financial industry, I love hearing that. Somebody thinking, hey man, I should save up some money here in the new year and perhaps buy myself a home. Good on you, Weiss. All right, let's run through the field here. We've got AMS Storm out in front in first, AMS Huracan in second, Corvid. That's Crimson for those of you keeping score. He's changed his name to DOR Corvid in third. Cratrim is fourth. Fear the Fun in fifth. Fontang in sixth. Barf Monkey in seventh. Audrex is eighth. T-Phrase in ninth. Chaos Fox, who has made his way up from the back of the pack, only able to manage a top 10 position right now, or at least a P10 position right now. We'll see if he's able to give himself one or two more spots, although he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot cut out for him because it's good amount of separation between he and T-Phrase. In 11th is Slow Motion Fire. Weiss Lancelot there in 12th. Presto's Besto is falling back to 13th. Modern Weapon in 14th. Joe Beardy in 15th. Slipstream is 16th. And Autobahn, Celtic Warrior 17th and 18th. And our top three are starting to approach the lap traffic. Celtic Warrior here, and you'll see exactly what I talked about in FM4 here. As long as you're able to navigate the track, race clean, get out of the way for oncoming traffic, although you have the right of way on the racetrack. But you'll notice here, Celtic Warrior on this straightaway is likely to yield to Huracan and Corvid. Storm already getting past. Pickles, 1997. My resolution is to get out and travel more to new places. My resolution seems to change every 2 days, though. I think that's everybody, Pickles. You're not the only one for sure. But Pickles, thank you so much. I appreciate you chiming in there on the chat. See you guys. It's that easy. It's that easy, just like what Pickles did there. And Pickles, hope it works out for you, man or ma'am, whichever one you may be. Whether that be a couple countries from you, maybe you're just going next door, or maybe it's a long-distance travel type thing. Hope it works out for you here in 2020 and that you get to go see some pretty cool stuff. And then, of course, Pickle's saying places, plural. So looking to get more than just one stop. And look at this, Celtic Warrior, or Celtic Warrior, putting up quite a fight here in 17th position as lap traffic is Huracan and Corvid unable to find a way by down the back straightaway, and now here through the S's, they're going to try to make it happen. You betcha if we had flashers, high beams here in Forza Motorsport 7, they'd be beaming them right now, and here they go, 3 wide. Woo, look at that, it's going to be Celtic Warrior, Corvid, and Huracan. Celtic wisely coming off the throttle, braking a little bit earlier. Now it's Huracan and Corvid side by side through the right-hander toward the straightaway. That back straightaway, you see AMS Storm in the background. And look at that, Corvid right on the back bumper of Huracan. Jazzy May chiming up here in the pit lane, saying, my resolution is also to save and budget for a home, but mostly get out of retail. I'm on my 6th year of customer service. Jazzy May, best of luck to you. I can imagine. I've never worked in customer service myself, but I can imagine that can be something that you're like, all right, after a couple of years, great, ready to move on, accelerate my career, and hopefully you can make that happen either through schooling or through just advancement, promotion, your knowledge of your current job, whatever it is. Hope that works out for you. And thanks again for that follow. And there they go, Corvid and Huracan able to finally manage away from, get around Celtic Warrior. I love it. I love you guys are putting the resolutions in there. Again, this is our final broadcast of 2019 on Virtual Autosports. I hate to say it, but it is the truth. The Forza Spec Racing Series will take the next Tuesdays off because it is Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Joining things back up on January 7th with week number 4, and then week 5, the finale, out at Silverstone National. 76 laps around that track for the finale on January 14th. We're keeping our camera locked in here with 3rd and 2nd because this is really our closest competition. You have to look a little bit further back to 6th and 7th with Barf Monkey and Fear the Fun. And we might go take a look at that battle here in just a little bit. But let's see if Corvin's going to make any attempt here as they go up the hill underneath that Road Atlanta bridge. It used to be, I think, Suzuki, a Suzuki-sponsored bridge, right? Red Beard the Misfit. Thank you for the follow. Man, lots of follows today. Some New Year's resolutions that we're talking through. You guys are on your game today. I appreciate that. Through the S's at the top of the hill. And let's go ahead and depart from this battle real quick. And let's go to Fear the Fun, who's now behind Barf Monkey, who's moved up to 6th position. So Fear the Fun in the Castrol Edge livery there. He's going to look to the inside, getting almost all 4 tires off into the grass. You see he's got the snowman avatar. I think that's what it was at least. And there goes Barf Monkey, probably looking at his rearview mirror thinking, man, you're looking for every possible opportunity, aren't you? Here they come. Oh, and there goes Fear the Fun, perhaps onto the back bumper of Barf Monkey. And it looks like Fear the Fun hit the brakes a little bit to kind of acknowledge that maybe he was a little bit too aggressive there on the back bumper and allowing Barf to hold on to 6th position. Yes, I'm saying Barf Monkey. Down the walk back straightaway here for lap 17 for these two drivers. Our leaders crossing the line for the start of lap 18. That leader being AMS Storm, who now has what is seemingly an insurmountable lead over Huracan and Corvid. Let's go back up to 2 and 3. Redbeard, the Misfit, saying Chaos Fox is going like heck. He's trying. He's doing everything he can after a rough outing during qualifying. He's there in 10th position, hasn't moved, hasn't gained a spot probably in the last 10 laps or so. It really all happened as a big chunk early on in the race, and he has not been able to close the gap between he and T-Phrase, who's running up there in 9th position. But Redbeard Misfit saying he's number 1 in our hearts, though. There you go. Redbeard, again, appreciate the follow. Back down the hill, here's where Corvid made things very interesting for the start of lap number 2. He's been really tidy looking, though, ever since then. Lap number 19 of 20. 3 laps remaining here, or 19 of 21, I should say. Lap 22 will be the cooldown lap, so 3 to go here. I got you. I got you. Down the hill. The sound of that YBD motor, and there goes Storm off the track, so it's going to be Huracan and Corvid, 1 and 2. What happened to Storm? Unable to catch it. Only saw it as they headed into the left-hander. Wow. Wow. The last 2.5 laps and Storm giving it away. And now back behind Storm is Cratrim. Will he be able to fend him off for position? And there goes Corvid right onto the back bumper of Huracan. They're going to go side by side. Down the back stretch they come into the little right-hand kink here before the left and the right 1-2 step. And Corvid jumps out in front. He's got the very front spoiler of the RS 500 nosed out in front. Oh no, and we've got the loading screen. Come back to us. Corvid. We lost a driver, but Corvid has now fallen back to 2nd position. And Jazzy May, this is so stressful to watch. It's exciting though, isn't it there, Jazzy? It's exciting as can be, and here comes Corbin. He's going to try to make another run for it through the S's. A very tricky section to try to make a pass on, and then you've got the downhill section, and here comes Storm, storming up from behind. He's going to try to make a recovery after that incident, this very same part of the track last time through. And pay attention, you've got Cratrin back there in fourth, who's going to try to make a run for it, and he most certainly can. Huracan, he's trying to hold off Crimson or Corvid. They're in second. Corvid is Crimson, by the way. I'm having to say that multiple times, one, to get myself acclimated, and also for you all out there, Corvid, formerly known as Crimson, joining the DOR team. And now up the hill underneath the Motul Bridge here on lap 20. Next time by the start-finish line will be the white flag. Ah, you like that, Ben McKenna. Ben's like, hey, you got that replay? And then sure enough, boom, there it was. The Virtual Autosports in replay. Full effect here tonight on a Tuesday. Forza Spec Racing Series, season number 31. Race number 5. And Corvid jumps out in front for the final lap. Can he hold on to it? Huracan in second. Storm in third. Cratrium in fourth. Doug Roberts saying Huracan and Corvid are putting on a great race. You're not wrong. There goes Huracan, looking to the inside, not going to be able to make that move there on Corvid. As we take a look at the instant replay there through the start-finish line when Corvid took position from Huracan. And now here they come through the final section, the second half of the track. Huracan looking to the inside. And if they're not careful, they're going to give it up, and there goes Storm off the track once again. Will Cratrin be able to close in and gain third position? We'll have to see. We're going to hold our camera here in second position. It is indeed Cratrin and Storm 3 and 4 down the back straightaway. Huracan and Corvid 1 and 2 up to the final left-hander, then 2 right-handers. Corvid, Huracan, and barring any incident, that's how these two will finish. Wow, what a magnificent first race here for week number 3. And that's how things will end in the first half of season 31. Cratrim in third, Storm in fourth. Let's go back to Futang, who's there in fifth position. At least for now. Can he hold on to it? Barf Monkey, yes, back behind him in sixth. He's going to be able to hold on to that. Fear the Fun in seventh. Can he move up around Barf Monkey for sixth? Here they come into the final right-hander. And it's going to be Barf, Fear the Fun. And in eighth, Odge Rex. Let's go to Chaos Fox, who's in 10th. It's T-Phrase in 9th. Chaos Fox trying to hold off Slow Motion Fire. It looks like he'll be able to do just that. And across the line, Chaos Fox, Slow Motion Fire, Presto is Besto back there in 12th. Doug Roberts saying that was awesome. Martin, get in, Crimson. Well done. Holy PG-13. Holy PG-13, says Crimson there in the pit lane. And 13th will go to Weiss Lancelot. Slipstream as they're battling it out. 15th goes to Joe Beardy. Celtic Warrior in 16th. Autobahn in 17th. And that means Modern Weapon with the DNF. He'll get 3 points for at least trying here in race number 5 of the season. Our first race of the night. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got the second race of the evening coming up right after this commercial break. And, of course, we'll talk to some of our drivers in the driver's spotlight before we head out to qualifying at the Indianapolis Brickyard Speedway. For those of you watching here on Twitch TV, not getting any ads at the moment, I'm Dustin Moore, broadcasting week number 3 of season 31 in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series, and you couldn't have asked for a more exciting finish. DOR Corvette able to jump up 2 spots in the remaining 3 laps, getting around Huracan, but more importantly, getting around Storm, who had a great lead, a wonderful advantage in this race, and unfortunately gave it away going into turn number 5, I believe it is, here at Road Atlanta, up the hill and to the left-hander. And so that made all the difference. Corvette and the Ford Racing RS500 able to get around and grab the win. That'll be 50 points here in race number 5. The Brickyard, yes, the Brickyard, not the road course, the Indianapolis Brickyard Speedway Circuit coming up next. 3 laps of qualifying. Drivers, go to that queue for interview section. We'd love to chat with you coming out of the commercial break. Get your thoughts on the race. And then also, we're asking here in this final broadcast of 2019, what is your New Year's resolution? If you're one of our spectators, go ahead and drop it there in the chat. We'd love to have a word with you. Get your thoughts on the racing here and what you look to accomplish in 2020. Corvette here on the cool down lap. He'll cross the line and put an end to this race.
Hello?
And welcome back, folks. Virtual Autosports here live on Twitch TV. For those of you who had ads, we appreciate you hanging out during those, and that allows new viewers who are coming into the broadcast to avoid the pre-roll segment. So I appreciate you all taking a moment to look at those, and I had to catch my breath. So it was a great opportunity for me to recover because that was one exciting race. And joining us now here in the driver's spotlight, we've got Fear the Fun. Fear the Fun, I think you were back there 5th, 6th?
8th. No,
8th.
7th.
9th?
I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, with these cooldown laps, you guys get all shuffled up, and then I lose track of who was where. Sometimes I try to write them down, but other times I just got to sit here and unwind. So, Fear the Fun, nonetheless. I mean, if you got yourself a top 10, that's a pretty good finish. Chaos Fox was breathing down the top 10's neck as he was trying to move his way up from the back. How was the race overall for you?
Oh, I had a great start, and then I just had a couple mental lapses that cost me 2 places. I was up in 5th. Yeah, 5th. And I just caught the grass a little bit going onto the back straight, and Foon came around me. And on the back of me, I had Barf Monkey, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Monkey Barf. And we had a good battle at the last 5 or 6 laps. Coming onto the back lash or the back straight, whichever one you want to call it. I caught the grass a little bit, and he got up beside me, and then when we were going down into the braking zone at the bottom of the hill, I locked up just a little bit, and he went and got 6th from me.
Yeah, there was some great battles there, and that's why I thought you were in 5th and 6th, because we did see you as high up as 5th and 6th, and then like you had mentioned, some great appearances from some of the drivers making their way back up toward the top 5, able to get around you, but nonetheless, top 10 finish, Fear the Fun. I'd love to keep chatting with you, but we've got a lot of drivers here in the driver's spotlight, so my final question to you, what are you looking to accomplish in 2020?
I mean, I'd like to have both eyes back. That'd be nice.
Yeah. If you care to share, I know some people, they're probably thinking, what the heck is Fear talking about? You want to just elaborate a little bit?
I have a degenerative eye disease and a cornea transplant.
Yeah.
They kind of both play a role in like how well my vision. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's great. Well, my contacts a piece cost $350, and I broke one of them, so I've been down one eye for the last month and a half, 2 months.
And so is that something that can be fixed, or is that something that, you're hoping that you'll have great eyesight, but I mean, it's kind of
Well,
being super
insurance
hopeful.
my insurance only covers me getting
Yeah.
the contacts, a pair of contacts once a year.
Okay.
Well, I already got it for this year, so going into next year, I'll be able to get another pair of contacts.
Yeah.
Have one for my right eye as well.
Gotcha. Well, Fear the Fun, we do hope that works out for you, and anybody who may be watching that is battling any sort of medical condition or something that they really wish was not a part of their lives. We hope maybe 2020 and the advancements of technology and medical science and all that great stuff is able to help out. Fear the Fun, always great talking with you. We'll look forward to seeing what you do out here at the Brickyard.
All right, man. Have a good day.
You too. All right, let's go ahead and drive. Let's drive. No, let's bring in the driver who drove himself to the finish line in the top spot, able to jump up 2 spots from P3 to P1 there in the remaining 3 races. Corvid, or Crimson as we knew you before. What happened to Storm up there in the final 3 laps, and then you were able to get around Huracan?
It looked like he got caught up on the outside curb about to turn in, and it flung him out to the right at the bottom of the hill there.
Yeah, the RS500's looking very twitchy on the curbing. Is that something that you were experiencing as well?
Not really. I was fighting understeer for the most part, especially towards the end when the tires started going, and it kind of pushed me out onto the curbing at the bottom of the hill more than I would have liked, and more than I'm sure Huracan likes. Sorry.
Yeah, you were right there on the back bumper of Huracan the entire time. That must have been quite a bit of pressure for him. But what a treat to then see Storm. Obviously, you probably would rather have it happen in a more competitive way, but what a treat to have him fall back, and then you're able to, an extra bonus there, get around Huracan for the win. Did you see that happening? Were you kind of strategically planning that there in the final few laps?
So like you said it yourself, I don't like winning based off of incidents like that. So the move that got me into the lead at the end of the race, there's one that I had done on Huracan earlier, about halfway through the race, just a little flick back in the chicane and not lifting into the final turn. Mm-hmm. So it was a sketchy move, but it worked twice.
Speaking of sketchy, we had our camera on you there coming out of lap number 1, the final right-hander, as you hook it toward the start-finish line. You got the RS500 sideways through that corner. Was that a clinching moment or what?
Yeah, someone put a cone there. I'm not sure why there's a cone on the inside of that turn. It grabbed the car and yanked it to the right. I'm incredibly lucky I stayed out of that tire barrier. If I touched that, everyone in the race would have died, and we probably would have called for restart.
Yeah, that could have got ugly really, really quick. Corvid, congratulations on the win. Quickly, 2020 resolution for you.
That's a hard one.
Come back to you at the end of the broadcast?
Maybe. I'm in a unique situation where planning for the future is kind of sketchy. So.
All right, Corbin. Well, how about planning for a back-to-back race here? Best of luck to you at Indianapolis, the Brickyard.
I'm going to need it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's we've got a couple other drivers in here. We were talking to Fear the Fun earlier. Now let's go to one of the drivers that he was battling with and coming out with I believe a top 10 finish, Barf Monkey. What was your take on the Road Atlanta experience there? 21 laps.
I had a pretty good battle with Fear at the end there. I started up higher at the grid, so I was falling back a lot of that race, just some mistakes. I had a chance to pass what used to be Crimson, but is now DOR Corvid. Mm-hmm. So on the first lap there. So I don't know. I felt it could have gone better, but I mean, I'll take a top 10 finish.
A top 10 finish indeed, and I would love to ask you all the important questions, the very hard-hitting questions here in the driver's spotlight. What is the origin story? Because there's always a good origin story to the name Barf Monkey.
It was in the 5th grade. I don't know. It was kind of this alter ego that I had made up when I was a child, and I figured, yeah, I'll just make it my electronic alter ego.
There you go.
So,
local news stations. I'm taking solicitations for a job right now because I'm getting those hard hitting questions. Barf Monkey 2020. What do you want to accomplish?
I would love to have a top 3 finish before the end of the season. That's kind of one of my goals. So I guess I don't know. Unless it happens this race, it won't happen until 2020. So
I like it. Keeping it super simple. Looking at the Forza Spec Racing Series and putting one of your goals there in the sand and saying, hey, that's where I want to be. Barf Monkey, great job there at Road Atlanta. Best of luck to you here at the Brickyard.
thank you.
All right, we got 2 more drivers. You guys are coming out in droves. We're going to go head over to LSEM Chaos Fox, who finds himself 10th on the leaderboard entering Week 3. Finished, if I remember correctly, based on where I last saw you, 10th out there at Road Atlanta. You had to come up through the field because of a poor qualifying session.
Yeah, I was unable to set a clean lap at all. The way my car is, I need like a good 10 laps on the tires so I can really get fast. Cold tires, I kept just brushing off the track at the worst times, and I was unable to set a quick lap. And not even a quick lap, but it was a dirty lap. So it was a double whammy for me. But I was able to claw back up to 10th, so it's better than where I started, so I'll take it.
That's right. Moving up, and here at the Brickyard, you got a little bit more track to play with in terms of qualifying. I suspect you're looking to set yourself a clean qualifying lap this go around.
Yes, I'm a lot more confident around here. I was doing pretty good practice. The lap times, especially when we were practicing earlier, are so close. This qualifying is going to be crazy.
Crazy qualifying out here at the Brickyard before we head out there for a whole 32 laps. Chaos Fox, we talked to you earlier about your aspirations for moving up the field here on the leaderboard for the Forza Spec Racing Series. I asked you what your 2020 goal was already, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we won't do that again, but Chaos Fox, good racing there at Road Atlanta, and we wish you the best here in Indy.
Thank you.
All right. And then our final driver here in the driver's spotlight, who I also talked to during the pre-race ceremonies before our race out at Road Atlanta, was Weiss Lancelot, and I asked him, hey, what's your 2020 resolution? He couldn't tell me, so did 21 laps around Road Atlanta jog your brain any?
Actually, I think I did say it right before the race.
Did you?
Yeah. I wanted to go ahead and plan a budget.
That's right.
Property.
I was giving you kudos for that too. Like I said, myself a communicator in the financial industry, so it's good to hear you saying, "Hey, I want to create a budget." So never mind. I take it all back. You're good with your 2020 resolution. But what do you think about the race? It looked like a little bit further back from top 10.
Yeah, I was a bit further back, but it was kind of where I expected to be based off of the amount of practice that I had on that track. I absolutely loved it. I felt pressure the whole way through, especially towards the end, with me and Slip. That battle where he just took, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, about the last 4 turns in, he managed to catch up to me and overtake, and I just wasn't gonna go ahead and give him the satisfaction of overtaking me. So I stuck with him like glue, and eventually he made a mistake, and I tried my best to take advantage of it. And good thing it turned out the way it did.
Very good, very good. And now we change things up dramatically, going from the road course with undulations out there at Road Atlanta, Braselton, Georgia, now to Indianapolis, not the road course, but the oval track. What are you having to do to the vehicle to be competitive here on the oval?
On this one, I actually took more time to practice yesterday. I did about, give or take, maybe 60 or 65 laps worth of testing. I went ahead and I lowered down the car quite a bit, and I also went ahead and made a bit of a more drastic adjustment to the camber settings. I went ahead and gave it about 2.5 degrees in the front, 2 in the back, so that I could go ahead and get the wheels on the right side to be level on the undulations and on the turns. I'm playing it kind of risky in the straights just because of the fact that there's more camber now and it's not as stable, but I'm willing to run a risk on that.
We'll see if the risk equals reward. Weiss Lancelot, best of luck to you in qualifying here at the Brickyard.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Love it. All those drivers joining me in the driver's spotlight, and I appreciate Slow Motion Fire giving me a little bit of time to go through everybody and give them a chance to, again, build their brand. I know we don't have a big audience here on Twitch TV, but you know what? We've got some folks here, and giving drivers a chance for you to hear their voice, get their thoughts on the race, and a little bit of extra. That's what we like to be able to share here on the broadcast. Giving you, as the spectators, a little bit more of an experience than just seeing the cars run around the track time and time again. Let's get to know the people behind the controllers or the wheels. Looking over there to the pit lane, Matt 661, if you're still here, thank you so much for stopping by. I wish you a fantastic rest of your evening or early morning. Again, make sure you all, if you're not already following Matt 661, here on Twitch, be sure to do that. Plenty of Forza Racing action on his broadcast, in addition to other stuff. He does other things as well. Ben McKenna saying goodbye there to Matt. Kremzen, if you're on a NVIDIA GPU, roll your driver back to 426.1. So you guys are working out maybe some issues with the game not working so hot there for Hot Willie Pepper. As we're now in qualifying, there goes Slow Motion Fire first off the line in the Chia Pet car, the RS500. Whew, man, so much excitement, and I love the fact, again, that we got to talk to so many drivers there in the driver's spotlight. We'll look to do that again after maybe one or two after qualifying, and then we'll do it after the race here at the Brickyard. And again, we're prepping for a 32-lapper here around this track, and this is the first time I think I've done an oval event in the Forza Spec Racing Series, so that's a new one. Time to turn left, says Ben McKenna. Time to turn left, indeed. But man, it's exciting how much strategy there is in oval racing. It really is impressive. And to take a car that isn't naturally or organically built or inherently built to do oval races, and to do what these guys are doing here today for 32 laps, it's going to prove to be exciting. And I know last broadcast I said, hey, out here in the RS500, 323 horsepower on the oval, they should be able to just gun it all the way around. The driver's telling me how wrong I was, that there is a little bit of modulation to the throttle. So on tracks like these, in the virtual world of racing, maybe not any more than other tracks, but it becomes a little bit more poignant that you got to be super precise with the thumbstick around here, because you don't want to be slapping it too much in the corners. That's how you can lose tenths, hundredths, thousandths of a second. But then also, in addition to that, the modulation of the throttle, making sure that you're keeping the most amount of momentum into the straightaways as possible, because if you're not, somebody else will. Slow Motion Fire there with a 56.1. He sets the first flying lap time, and as everybody comes around, they'll go ahead and set their quick time, and we'll see who sits up there in the pole position. And again, the driver who grabs the pole gets to dictate the start for the race. Bigfoot's Tuta Star 2, and Bigfoot's, thank you very much for the follow. Anybody else who may be watching the broadcast here live on Twitch TV, make sure you give me a follow. That lets me know, as the broadcaster, that, heck, I'm doing something right. And I know I'm asking all the drivers, what is your New Year's resolution? I'll go ahead and talk about mine here as we go into the intermission before our second race. All right, who's winning this one? Let me know there in the chat. Is DOR Corvid going to be able to go back-to-back? Is Huracan going to go ahead and put the kibosh on that and say, no, you know what? I was leading that first race. I deserve a win. I'm going to take this one home. Or is it going to be AMS Storm, who was leading it all the way up until lap 19 when he flung himself off the track through the S's out at Road Atlanta and ended up finishing third? Or will Cratrium, who finished, actually check that, Cratrium finished third. Storm fell all the way back to fourth position. Will Cratrium rear his head here on the oval and come away with a win? Wins equal 50 points. Then in second, it's 47, and on down from there. If you want to check out the scoring system for the Forza Spec Racing Series, there's the link, reddit.com/r/fm4. And if you are looking to participate, regardless of your skill level, you're welcome to race with the guys and gals of the Forza Spec Racing Series. All you have to do is race cleanly. Martin is saying someone using a wheel should have pretty decent odds, and we'll take a look at the menu to see if maybe we could spot anybody who's running the wheel here on the oval. Let's see, BDR Beast joining us here in the pit lane, or the Twitch chat as it's otherwise known, saying Storm is going to take the win. BDR Beast throwing his money down on Storm. Let's see here, Slow Motion Fire with a 56-1, Autobahn with a 57-0. Presto is Besto, 57. 3/100ths of a second, so just behind Autobahn there. Joe Beardy with a 56.8. Modern Weapon at a 56.5. DUR Corvid at a 55.771. I think that's going to put him out on the row 1. I don't know. Actually, it may not. We're going to see here. Celtic Warrior 57.0. T-Phrase 56.4, 56.7 for Funtang. Cratering with a 55.6, 57.0 for Weiss Lancelot. Huracan with a 55.8, 55.6 for Fear the Fun. Well done, Fear the Fun. 55.5 for AMS Storm. I think Storm has landed himself on pole position once again for back-to-back races here in week number 3. Barf Monkey with a 56.3, 56.6 for Audrex, 56.6 for Slipstream. That's a 56.647. And a 56.123 for LSCM Chaos Fox, who's able to manage himself a clean lap here for qualifying out at the Brickyard. Let's go to that driver spotlight once again. We've got T-Phrase, the big-time tooth guy.
Yeah,
T-Phrase, what's up,
man?
Dude?
Oh, just excited to be at an oval track.
It looked like, before we talk about the oval track, it looked like you had a pretty darn good finish out there at Road Atlanta.
It wasn't bad. I started well. I got off the line, fast, and got through a couple guys that were faster than me, got caught up in some traffic, and that's kind of my goal on those races. I know I'm not going to be probably top 6. I'm looking at, just like the boys from Haas and the boys from whatever the team is, Renault. They like to be the best of the rest, so that's kind of what I'm looking for out of that.
One topic,
it was
go ahead.
It was challenging. Sorry. It was challenging. That course is always challenging. It's all about who can push their car to the limit and not get caught. If you can do that, then you're going to be fast and successful. But if you're not, then you're just going to putter around and finish 8th or 9th, like I did.
Talking with T-Phrase here in the driver spotlight, the driver of the Oral-B car out there on the track. Tell us something about the drafting situation out here. This is something that I haven't necessarily covered, but will we see draft come into play here at the Brickyard in Forza Motorsport 7?
It's kind of weird. It's not like a regular draft where you get extra downforce and you can, get up beside guys and pull the draft off to them. You can a little, but Forza's draft is a little weird. If you're up on somebody's bumper, you're going to get pulled with a draft, but that front is also not going to be going slower either. It's going to push them along too. So, with us having, this car won't rev all the way to the rev limit. So everybody's pretty much on gas the whole time. You don't have to worry about checking up or anything like that unless you just got to run somebody. It's going to be tight racing. I mean, we're talking less than probably a second between the top 15, 14 guys. And you saw how tight the top 1 and 2 were. You're talking 8,000ths of a second or something like that. So it's going to be close racing. It's going to be fun. You're going to be out of breath and not have a break. So we'll pray for that. But this is the one chance I might have of actually sneaking a win in this series because there's just so many good guys out there that run the road courses. I just can't keep up. But this is something I know how to do. I know how to draft. I know how to, find lines and find. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and again, talking with T-Phrase here in the driver's spotlight before we get ready for 32 laps around the Brickyard track. One of those courses where you really got to have a lot of trust, a lot of faith in the drivers around you because, as you said, there's going to be a lot going on. It's a lot of, obviously, high speed here on the oval. One little mistake can ruin it not only for your race, but the drivers around you.
Yeah, so usually, we're all in comms, and 9 times out of 10, the comms are only important for people that are running the race and to call out cautions or not cautions, but wrecks and things like that. Or I disconnected. Hey, I'm okay. I disconnected. But for this race, it's going to be, hey, work with me. Hey, I got to run here. Let's go. I got get on your bump. There's going to be some conversation about that. But then again, there's also those guys that don't talk. CT and some of the other guys, they don't talk during the race. They mute themselves, and they're still in comms to hear things, but you won't know. So it's really going to be a matter of who's got the run. And I've seen too, if you run around, like you're going to see the leader, he's probably going to jump out a little bit because the other guys are battling a little bit for position. But once that leader jumps out, that train's going to run him down, and it's not going to matter. If you get 2 or 3 cars, you're going to run that guy down with one all day long. So that part of the drafting is correct, but there's not really going to be much like you do in NASCAR where you have to kind of let off of it or kind of ease into it. These cars don't get as weird and wobbly if you run into them in the back. Not even in the turns, that's one thing, but in the straightaways, you can kind of go far into them, and they're going to well.
Yep, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so much strategy out at play, obviously all throughout the season, but especially so here at the Ovals, where a lot of drivers they can keep a really good pace going, and we saw that during qualifying, looking at all the times. Talking again with T-Phrase before we get ready to go to racing here. T-Phrase, if you're willing to divulge, what's the line that you'll be looking to run here through the corners?
There's really so each corner is different. The first corner you go in high, come out low, and set yourself up for the next corner. You don't really have to lift in the second much, just a little bit to set yourself up for the big long run. The third corner, you're going to be carrying the most amount of speed, so you're going to have to lift out of that one because the fourth corner is an off-camber corner, and that's where you're going to see a lot of people scrubbing or grabbing that side, and that could be an issue. Luckily, it's right there at the pit lane, so people can get in there quickly. But, if you lose the draft around here, and I see AMS in the chat, AMS Storm is saying that train's going to run him down, challenge accepted. And he also said he can't let an American win one. Well, let me tell you something, buddy. This American here is coming for you because this is our sport. We know how to do one thing, and that's turn left, and we're going to do it, by God.
Oh, T-Phrase, always a blast talking to you, man. I see all the drivers readied up, so I'll let you get back into the lobby. And, of course, depending on how this one runs out for you, but, of course, you're always welcome to the driver's spotlight. But depending on how it pans out for you, we'll talk to you again here maybe at the end of the race.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All righty. And I'm alluding to the fact that maybe we'll talk to T-Phrase here at the end of the race because I know everybody's readied up and geared up and ready to go for the race, so I don't want to stall anymore. And we'll ask T-Phrase about his 2020 New Year's resolution as we get the countdown here for race number 2, the start of the second half of season number 31 in the Forza Spec Racing Series. This is it, folks, our final race of 2019 before we roll into 2020 on January 7th with week 4, which encompasses week 7 or race number 7 and 8, and then that finale on January 14th. Race number 9, 76 laps around the Silverstone National. Ben McKenna, he's got the Simpson character praying for me. As T-Phrase said, hey, praying for you because after this one, all the excitement that there is out on the track, you're going to need a breather. You might even need a voice. You might be out of talking power by the time this one is done. AMS Storm, yes, there in the pit lane saying that train's going to run him down in quotes. That's what T-Phrase said. AMS Storm saying challenge accepted. Jazzy May just wanted to say hi to Weiss Lancelot. Good deal. And LSCM Fox, I saw you there in the driver's spotlight. Hopefully we can get you here after the end of the race. There's AMS Storm on the pole position. Opposite him is Craytrim, Fear the Fun, Corbin. And they're off underway here at the Brickyard. 32 laps around the track. 19 or 18 drivers here on the grid. Race number 6. In season number 31, Storm coming around the corner, back behind him, the whole train of cars. Let's go to 4th with Fear the Fun, who we talked to there in the driver's spotlight, and look at that. He's got Corbin on the inside, Fear the Fun on the high line, and let's go ahead and hop on board with Fear the Fun as he's being beat out by Corbin by just a nose. And now coming up here to turn number 3, let's hop a little bit further back. Let's go to Slipstream in 11th position as they go through turn 3 and getting up there onto the back corner, that rear quarter panel of Odd Drex. Both drivers able to hold on to it. Slow Motion Fire there in 9th position. Out in front of Slow Motion Fire, that's going to be Barf Monkey in 8th. And there goes Barf Monkey sliding it through turn number 4. Actually, that's Modern Weapon who's sliding it through. And oh no, that was, hold on, stand by. Modern Weapon dropping back. That looked like Slipstream, who was trying to get through, trying to thread the needle, and that was a little bit ambitious. I don't know that he had the room to get through, and he just kept the accelerator gunned and bumped door panels, and oh no, we got another collision back here with Modern Weapon in 16th, Celtic Warrior in 15th, and it is all kinds of chaos here through turn number 2. Let's go back up to the front of the pack momentarily just to see where these drivers are. AMS Storm out in front, Huracan in second, Craytream in third, Fear the Fun in fourth, Corvid is in fifth, Chaos Fox, who had a top 10 finish, actually finished 10th out at Road Atlanta, is in sixth, Barf Monkey in seventh, T-Phrase in eighth, Soul Motion Fire in ninth, Slipstream, who again was trying to thread that needle there coming through turn 4 last time through, he's in 10th, Audrex in 11th, Futang in 12th, Weiss Lancelot in 13th, Celtic Warrior in 14th, Presto is Besto in 15th, Modern Weapon in 16th, Joe Beardy in 17th, Autobahn in 18th. Of the 18 drivers we have out there on the track, nobody going into pit lane from what I could tell. So not enough damage to warrant any pit stops, which is good. Even if you got caught up into an incident early on, just keep it going. You never know what might happen out in front of you. BDR Beast, thank you for the follow. As we now jump back to Slow Motion Fire, he's leading the mid-pack cars in 8th position. T-Phrase right behind him, big-time Tooth Guy. He's going to go to the inside, and now he's closing in on Slow Motion Fire at Barf Monkey out of turn 4. Look out, there's cones all over the track. That's what Corbett said out there at Road Atlanta. Caught him and got him going sideways into the final right-hander to the start-finish line. And at these speeds, you definitely don't want to encounter another cone, so hopefully we can keep those off the track. Here comes Slow Motion Fire, looking to the inside, maybe a little bit of a bump draft there on Barf Monkey. They're going to go 3 wide into the corner. T-Phrase slow, Barf Monkey, a double pass there as T-Phrase moves up to 7th. Riding on board here with T-Phrase in 8th. They got around Barf Monkey. Now let's see if T-Phrase is going to be able to make something happen with Slow Motion Fire. You got to be careful ducking down to the inside, and there goes T-Phrase up into the wall coming out of turn number 4. He dipped really low down to the inside line, and I don't know if maybe he caught himself into the grass, which pushed him out to the outside and into the wall. He now drops back to 10th with Audrex moving up to 9th. Barf Monkey into 8th. Slow Motion Fire is 7th, and there goes T-Phrase up into the wall once again. Let's go to Huracan in 5th. Out in front of him, he's got Corvin in 4th, Fear the Fun in 3rd. Martin saying, run him down, run him down. Ben McKenna, I feel that, Dustin. 2-hour band rehearsal today, says Ben McKenna. He's a little weary, but joining us here on Virtual Auto Sports on a Tuesday evening to watch Forza Motorsport Racing, and there goes to the inside line Huracan, and he too is going to end up onto the outside wall. I'm telling you, you go a little bit too far down below, and I think maybe that grass catches you and pushes the RS500 out wide. Now riding on board with Corvid in 4th. Fear the Fun in 3rd. Craytream in 2nd. And out in front of Craytream, it's AMS Storm in 1st. And out in front of them is Lap Traffic, so that's something you'll have to contend with. And now Corvid goes up into the wall, entering turn 2. Ben McKenna saying, okay, I can kind of understand the appeal of NASCAR now. Well, and of course, here at the Indianapolis, yeah, you get a little bit of NASCAR out here, but the Indianapolis 500, the IndyCar 500, I should say, very popular race. We've seen IndyCars out here a time or two in Virtual Auto Sports. 1, 2, 3 into turn 4. It's Storm, Craytream, Fear the Fun, Corvid. Huracan is back there in 5th position. Oh no, there they are kicking some cones. Unfortunately, it looks like Fear the Fun was able to boot that one on to the infield. They really have that train of 3 going if they want to catch Storm, says Martin. Yeah, and there comes a point in this race where you're thinking, I need some drivers, I need some help to help propel me to the front of the pack. Huracan 5th, Chaos Fox. Let's go to Chaos Fox in 6th position. Chaos Fox with that LSEM, their new emblem, that badge there on the front. You see it there on the hood of the car. Whew, already exciting stuff, and we're only 7 laps in, or at least on the halfway point of lap 7. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And there goes Chaos Fox up into the wall. Drivers really struggling to bring it out of 4. I'm Dustin Moore. Thank you very much for tuning in. The Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 3 of season 31. Our final broadcast of 2019. We'll be back at it in January, on January 7th to be exact. For week number 4, there goes Modern Weapon to the high line. He's going to go ahead and let all the lead lap traffic get around him. Modern Weapon not having a good run here at the Brickyard. Back behind Chaos Fox and Slow Motion Fire in 7th, Audrex in 8th, Barf Monkey in 9th, Presto is Besto in 10th. Let's move up to Corvid in 10th position. He's back there behind Fear the Fun. You see Huracan back behind him in 5th by about 5 or 6 car lengths. What do you guys think? How's this race panning out? What do you see happening here at the end? Is a wreck going to change the face of this race, or do you think where we see the drivers are, where they are right now, is largely where they'll finish? They just got to keep it going here for the remaining 21 laps. 23 laps. Who knows? But we'll be here all the way to the end to see how it goes. Corvid running in 3rd currently. Came away with the win out at Road Atlanta after the AMS boys of Huracan and Storm dropped out of the top 2 positions. You hear the turbo on that 363 horsepower YBD motor spooling down and spooling back up as Corbin blips the throttle a little bit. Looking down the front straightaway here at the Brickyard, and look at that. Here comes to the inside. Fear the Fun taking a glance down there. Not going for it. And let's hop on board with Fear the Fun in that Mobile One liveried RS 500. A little bit more breathing room now at this point. Not too much traffic front and aft or to the sides, allowing Corvid and Fear to kind of pick their line. As you see Corvid getting a little bit loose, tire smoke out of that rear right tire, able to keep it on track and off the wall. You do want to keep it off that wall because it has a kind of a sticky effect here in Forza Motorsport 7. It'll grab your car, slow you down real fast, and before you know, you'll be looking at tail lamps. Fear the Fun kind of having to run wide there, adjusting to Corvid's line, and Corvid sliding it out again, out of 1. Now they enter 2. Here comes Fear the Fun, way down to the inside, grabbing the grass a little bit, able to recover. Whew. Gripping stuff here tonight. Running through the field. AMS Storm in front. Cratering P2. Corvid and Fear the Fun 3 and 4 as we see right here. Huracan is actually right behind, so let's go to Huracan and his car. You see the neon green of the Alien Motorsport livery. Back behind him is LSCM Chaos Fox. Slow Motion Fire in 7th, T-Phrase in 8th, Audrex in 9th, Barf Monkey in 10th, Presto is Besto in 11th position. Here comes Huracan looking to the inside. Gives a little bit of a tap there to Fear the Fun's car, not able to loosen them up any. So 4 and 5 is where they'll stay. Stamina with the follow. Thank you, sir or ma'am. I'm betting on the former. Presto in 10th, Barf Monkey in 11th, Celtic Warrior in 12th, Fu-Tang in 13th, Weiss Lancelot is 14th, Slipstream, who made some daring moves there early on in the race, is back to 15th position, Autobahn in 16th, Modern Weapon a lap down in 17th, the same can be said for Joe Beardy in 18th position. Here comes Huracan once again to the inside. Is he going to be able to make it happen here down the front straightaway? He's got Fear the Fun to his outside. At some point here, the camera will pull back, and there they go across the line, side by side, simultaneously across the brick line. And here comes Huracan to the inside, able to make that pass. at least for now. And yes, Fear the Fun dropping back to 5th. Well done by Huracan, keeping it clean and able to keep the tires off the grass there on the inside of turn number 1. And look at this. Now they're going to be 3, 4, and 5. Huracan, Fear, and Corvid. Corvid looking to fall back to 5th now. If Fear the Fun can make that happen. As we ride with Huracan in 4th position. Let's go to Corvid. Corvid in 5th. Dropping back from 3rd. And let's go to that Virtual Autosports instant replay with AMS Huracan. A lap ago to the inside of turn number 1, able to get around Fear the Fun. And that's where they run currently, 4th and 5th respectively. Corvid now in 3rd and 4th for Huracan and Fear the Fun, and Corvid in 5th. Corvid right there on the rear bumper of Fear the Fun. That's got to be an uneasy feeling. An uneasy feeling to have a driver that close to you. You feel the tap. Oh, and Fear the Fun. You see the sparks, and there he goes. Slowing down. Corvid moving up to 4th now. Fear to 5th. Chaos Fox in 6th. Slow Motion Fire in 7th. Audrex in 8th. Let's go to T-Phrase in 9th position, and right there on the back bumper of Audrex. And across the line for the start of lap 15 go those two. And here comes T-Phrase in the Oral B, big-time tooth guy, trying to get around the risen AMD car, and he'll do it as Audrex ends up into the wall coming out of turn 1. And now Audrex taps the grass, a little bit of smoke, but keeps it true. The front end pointed in the right direction. And at least for now, T-Phrase running in 8th. Let's go back up to Fear the Fun in 5th. Exiting turn 4 with Corbin out in front of him. Huracan now up in the distance in 3rd. As we see, big-time tooth guy, T-Phrase, getting around Audrex in the Virtual Autosports instant replay. And here live, Fear the Fun up onto the wall, entering turn 1. Well done, T-Phrase. Barf Monkey falling back to 11th spot. He finds himself looking at the back bumper of Presto Isbesto as they exit turn 11. Or excuse me, turn 11. All of a sudden, this oval has become massive. No, turn 2 there for Barf Monkey and Presto. It's Barf Monkey who is in 11th position. That's where I was going with that one. And returning to Fear the Fun here in 5th as he closes the gap here. Not only on Corvid, but also Huracan coming closer into the picture into turn number 1. What do you all see happening here? Viewers, I know you have some thoughts. Let me know there in the pit lane, the Twitch chat, as we know, or as it's known otherwise, here on Twitch. Great having you here live on a Tuesday evening. As we near the end of 2019, it's our final broadcast of the year before 2020 comes. And we are past the halfway point here in Season 31 as we begin the second half with race number 6 in the season, our second one here this evening after a stellar run out at Road Atlanta. Huracan, Corvid closing in, and there goes Fear the Fun once again up into the wall. That pesky turn 4 wall. And we've got a driver in the pit lane. That looks like it might be Joe Beardy, who's dropped in for a little bit of a repair. And speaking of repair, let's see what's going on with the tire situation here. That could mean all the difference. 31%, and we're just about halfway through this race. So tire wear could be huge. Could play a big role in this one. Storm, our leader. Craytrim, Huracan, Corvid. And it looks like side by side, Huracan and Corvid. Huracan able to hold on to third, at least for now. Let's go back to Corvid in fourth. Ben McKenna saying super clean passes. Credit to the drivers. Yeah, after lap 2, I think it was, things have really cleaned up on the track. It was a little sketchy early on in the race, but that's to be expected in an event like this. But all the drivers keeping it, for the most part, very, very clean. I think the only pit stop we're seeing here was Joe Beardy going in here on lap 17, or at least his lap 17. And unfortunately for Fear the Fun, he's starting to lose sight of Corvid and Huracan, who are up in third and fourth. That could help move these two drivers up further, closing in on Craytrim and pull them further, or bring them further away from Fear. And there goes Corvid making a run on Huracan. He's got it at least for now, and there goes Huracan to the inside line. Ben saying that's just a driver trying to shoot the gap. Understandable. Yeah. Yeah, and Slipstream was just doing what he could. Again, maybe he's trying to thread the needle a little bit too aggressively, but really, I don't think there were any casualties to that one. All the drivers were able to keep it pointed in the right direction. Obviously brought them off pace quite a bit as the field starts to thin out here on lap 20, closing in on lap 21 with our lead drivers coming through 3 and 4. A great battle here with Corvid and Huracan, third and fourth, or fourth and third respectively. Top on board here with Corvid. Oh, and there goes Huracan once again up into the wall out of 4. If I had a quarter for every time I've said that this race, I would at least be a couple of dollars richer. And there goes, look at that move there by Corvid, jumping out to the inside so that he can bring it back down to the inside line. And without a doubt, closing the door on Huracan, who might have been trying to go into the inside line. Now we hop onto the hood of Huracan's car. You see Corvid there, and then up in the distance is Craytrim, and you can't see him. Going out of turn 3 and into 4 is Storm. Big time Toof saying I suck. That being T-Phrase there in pit lane, I think. Unfortunately, T-Phrase back into 8th position. And look at this. Here comes Huracan looking to the inside. Then darts into the outside of Corvid. Or, well, to the inside line here on the circuit. Look at that. And as was talked about during the pre-race interviews, you got to have so much faith and trust in the driver in front of you. And there goes Corvid and Huracan into the wall. And sometimes that just happens because as the trailing driver, you're so fixated on the car in front of you that whatever mistake the car in front of you makes, sometimes you make that same mistake because you're like, all right, my car, I'm going to line my car up in the exact same position as the car in front of me. If they run wide, I'm going to run wide. Just carry the same line, and at some point I should be able to close the gap. Well, as we saw there, Corvid found himself up into the wall, and Huracan did too. And here for the start of lap 23, they'll be 3 and 4. And here comes Fear the Fun closing in 5th position. We'll go ahead to Fear the Fun's car so that we can see that battle between Huracan and Corvid play out from a distance. And there goes Corvid into the wall. And now Fear the Fun into the wall out of 1. And Huracan moves up to 3. Corvid to P4. I don't know that a single driver is going to have a clean car coming out of this race, either with contact on another driver or with the wall, the latter being the more likely. Everybody should have scrapes along the sides. And there goes Corvid making a move on Huracan as Huracan slides it out of 4. Behind Fear the Fun, who is in 5th, it's Chaos Fox in 6th, all by himself. Slow Motion Fire in 7th, T-Phrase in 8th, Audrex in 9th, Presto in 10th. Back behind him, he's got Barf Monkey, Slipstream, Funtang, Celtic Warrior, and Autobahn, 11th through 15th. Weiss Lancelot is lap traffic there in 16th, Joe Beardy in 17th, and it appears we lost, who would that have been in 18th? I'll have to check the ticker as it goes by. As we rode on board there in the Virtual Office Sport Instant Replay, and he does it again. There goes Fear the Fun into the wall out of 4, and every single time he does that, it seems that Corvid and Huracan do the exact same thing. If Fear the Fun can keep it on the asphalt and off the wall, he should be able to close the gap here, but he does it almost again, coming out of 1. Modern Weapon is unfortunately a second DNF. Had a DNF out at Road Atlanta and does it again here at the Brickyard. And so that'll be 3 points for each race and perhaps the drop week for Modern Weapon here in week 3. Redbeard, the Misfit, saying they're following his line right into the wall. And I think that's what it is. I legitimately think that's what it is that, again, you get so fixated on the car in front of you that you're like, man, I'm just going to mimic every single thing that they do, and surely that'll work out for me. Well, whatever they do, it tends to not work out for them. They get up into the wall, then you get up into the wall, and then the driver behind you gets up into the wall. And then we never see any change of position, although that's not been the case for Corbin and Huracan. They keep exchanging, and now they're dealing with flat traffic. And Fear the Fun, he can't keep off the wall to save his life. Out of 2, able to get up real close. The goal is to get as close to the wall as you can. Then you've maximized momentum out of the corner. But you're playing a dangerous, dangerous game when you've got that mirror closing in and then the door panel. There's probably a lot of mirrors that have been kicked off into the infield here on this race. Our leader continues to be AMS Storm out there on his lonesome. However, he is dealing with lap traffic at this point. There goes Fear the Fun, sliding the car, or at least getting it up onto the right 2 wheels very heavily and keeping it off the wall. Cratron in 2nd, Corbin in 3rd, Huracan in 4th, Fear the Fun in 5th, Chaos Fox is 6th, Slow Motion Fire, T-Phrase, Audrex and Presto is Besto make up 7th through 10th, and there goes Fear once again. You hate to see it. Let's go ahead and go up to Huracan in 4th. Target fixation is brutal. There you go. That's the term that I'm looking for. I appreciate it, Redbeard. It's that target fixation. Into turn number 3 goes Corvid. Our winner out at Road Atlanta, trying to go for a P2 finish. At the very worst, a top 3. And look at the precision there. Huracan able to keep it off of Corvid as they go across the line. Now look at this, side by side into turn 1. Again, this is where you got to have a lot of trust. Corvid dropping back to 4th with Cratrim in 2nd. Redbeard, I got you, man. I appreciate that. I love it when we've got folks who are watching the broadcast. Yeah, you can lurk all you like, but if you could, just say hello there in the chat. Lets me know that we've got some actual people watching the broadcast and not just maybe an assortment of bots. I know we've got Nightbot in here, but it's nice to know when we've got viewers that are enthralled and engaged and loving the racing. And even if you don't want to be a chatty Cathy there in the pit lane, you can definitely at least say hi. And then we'll talk to some of our drivers here at the conclusion of this one. Lap number 29 of 32 here at the Indianapolis Brickyard. What's up there, Glove Slap? Glove Slap, good to see you. Let me lurk. Love it, man. Good to see you. Thanks for the thumbs up, the gold, the GG thumbs up, gold glove. Dustin out here view botting. Yes, yeah, I know. Taking the stream to unfathomable heights. No, you guys being here and supporting the stream through your viewership is much appreciated. And of course, we couldn't do it without these drivers providing the great racing action that we have from weekend to weekend, or from week to week. So, all kinds of fun. Corvid and Huracan now, again, side by side down the front straightaway. Huracan to the inside, Corvid on the outside. And Huracan, third position. Cratrim, they're in second. He is closing in on AMS Storm, mind you. With the last few laps here. Corvid again, he's trying to get that top 3 finish after a win out at Road Atlanta. Huracan, who finished second at Road Atlanta, also trying to go for 2 top 3 finishes here in week number 3. And after the conclusion of tonight's action, Slow Motion Fire will get to work on the points, and you can get all the details over there at reddit.com/r/FN4. In addition to that, plenty of information about this league and how you can get involved. If you race clean, we'd love to see you out here on the track. Let's get a full grid. I implore you, if you're the least bit interested in league racing, and maybe if you're not even the most competitive driver that exists, maybe you're just a gamer through and through, but you want to have a go out here on the track, and you can keep your car clean and out of the way of the competitive drivers that we have out here, join. Be a part of the action. We'll try to get the camera on you from time to time. It's just been so solid up here in front that this is where we've been fixated, much like the target fixation that Redbeard was talking about there with the drivers following each other into the wall. We're following them with our camera as they go into the wall. Here comes Huracan running wide out of 4. He does keep it off the wall, but here comes Corvid to the inside. It looks like Huracan maybe trying to run him out of room a little bit there. BDRB saying, I told you Storm was going to take the race or the W. So far, you're correct, but here we are. Last lap. Can Cratrim make magic happen here into turn number 3? The white flag has flown, and they'll see checkers next time across the Brickyard line. As I look ahead to the blip, it looks like it'll be Storm with the win. Cratrim in second. Where will this top 3 spot, or who will this top 3 spot go to, or this P3 spot? Huracan, Corvid right behind him. Corvid's looking to the outside, no chance there. Huracan trying to keep Corvid out of his slipstream. He's going to pull it into the inside near the pit lane wall. And Huracan 3, Corvid 4, Chaos Fox 5th, Fear the Fun in 6th, Slow Motion Fire in 7th, T-Phrase is 8th. Let's go to Audrex in 9th. I couldn't move the camera quick enough to get some of these other finishes, but Audrex in 9th. Presto is Besto in 10th. Barf Monkey looking to secure 11th. Foontang in 12th. Slipstream 13th. Celtic Warrior 15th. Autobahn will go ahead and accept 15th as he goes ahead and just parks it on the infield between turn 1 and 2. And then after Autobahn will be Joe Beardy in 16th, Weiss Lancelot in 17th, and Modern Weapon with the second DNF in the night. We hate to see that. Wow, exciting stuff, folks. If you are watching right now, don't go anywhere. We're going to talk to some of our drivers here in the Driver's Spotlight. We're going to ask them about their New Year's resolutions for those who haven't yet provided it. I'll give you my New Year's resolution, and then we're also going to do a little quick recap of last week's Forza Monthly broadcast where Chris Sasaki talked about the future of the Forza Motorsport, the new Forza Motorsport experience, as he called it. And as I'm thinking about that, I'm like, man, I got to get that queued up. I don't even have it here. So let me go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and throw that on there. And unfortunately, we don't have the snow. I hate it. No snow. We'll throw that on there, and then we need some video action. Okay, very good. Very, very good. And before we talk to some of our drivers, just a reminder of what things looked like before entering week number 3. And for those of you drivers who are finished with the race, everybody's finished with the race, and if your name isn't AMS Storm, who will be focused on going ahead and doing the clean lap or the cool down lap, for everybody else, hop into that queue for interview section. We'd love to have a word with you about the conclusion of today's race. And then, again, ask you what your New Year's resolution for 2020 is. Everybody's at the edge of their seat. I know it. I can feel it. They're all sitting there wanting to know what you are wanting to accomplish in 2020. Again, that could be like, whether it be in the Forza world or if you want to talk about something in your real life, it could be something very, very aspirational, or it could be something that is easily accomplishable. Whatever you want to share. Hop into that queue for interview section there in the FM4 Discord. Pickles saying proof that Europeans can win ovals. Yes. BDR Beast calling it there that AMS Storm was going to win that one, and he did. And Storm looks like peeling out in front of the pack before he's going to make his cooldown lap around the Brickyard Oval. What exciting racing. And actually, sorry, you guys can't see it. I've already swapped over to the hold screen there. But yeah, man, what a night. What a way to close out 2019 here on the broadcast and in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Week 4 and 5, although they are weeks away, very, very exciting and something worth anticipating in 2 weeks' time for week 4 and then 3 weeks for week number 5. LSCM Chaos Fox, I saw you there coming out of qualifying for the Brickyard. And now here you are post-race. Ooh, things were a little sketchy there for the start. Were you able to avoid some of the contact?
Yes, I was able to avoid what was going on behind me. I'm a little disappointed with myself because I did not get the jump and keep up with the top 5. And pretty much the entire race, I was just in no man's land all by myself. And it was just a matter of, keeping focus, hitting my marks, and hoping that one of them made a mistake. And I was able to capitalize on a mistake Fear did, but that's pretty much all that came my way. I heard in the voice chatter, slow motion and everybody were trying to freight train up and try to catch up to everybody, but I was keeping my eye on the distance, and try as they might, I didn't really see them catch up to me.
Yeah.
But then again, I wasn't even catching up to the top 5, so it was just a big waiting game, that race.
Yeah. Sometimes that's just the way that it happens here on the ovals, no matter how on point you are with your line, unless somebody makes a jarring mistake ahead. Because we saw plenty of little mistakes by some of our leaders, but unless they make a significant mistake, sometimes you're just watching, spectating from afar their race. LSCM Fox here in the driver's spotlight. I had a question. Actually, now I just thought of it. Halfway through the race, took a look at where tire degradation was on some of the, on at least one of the drivers out there on the field. Did that come into play? Were you starting to lose a little bit of grip with those front tires, struggling to keep the car on the track?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay.
By the time the race ended, I still probably could have done about another 5 laps on the right front tire. I was really surprised because, again, I'm hearing near the end of the race, everyone was saying, they were struggling with tires. And my race setup, I mean, this is pretty much my road course setup. And I'm really shocked how well it does on tires on an oval. And I'm really kicking myself for the beginning, because I think if I was up front and I got that jump better, I think I would have been mixing it up with the top 5 a lot better. But my setup was perfect. I just didn't get the jump, and it is what it is.
Yep, and who knows? Maybe this is the drop week for you as we get ready to enter week 4. And again, Slow Motion Fire will go ahead and work out the details of the points following this race. So anybody who's watching and is curious, head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4 to find that scoreboard. LSCM Fox, we see Redbeard the Misfit. He followed the channel here today. He's been kind of celebrating you. He's saying that you're the world champ. Tell us a little bit about that relationship.
He is actually a personal friend of mine. Good. And he's heard about me doing these races. So today I actually just dropped him the channel link, and he wanted to cheer me on tonight.
Is Redbeard the Misfit? Is he a racer as well?
He does play Forza. Okay. He's not as serious as I am. He takes it much more laid back than I do. But he's definitely fun to race with. I've known him for quite a number of years. He's a good guy.
Do you throw down a challenge to him and say, hey, season 32, I want to see you out here on the track?
You know what? I don't know if he's going to do that, but the challenge is on the table. So if you want to take it.
Yeah, that's awesome, and we love it when our drivers welcome in friends, family, whomever, saying, hey, man, this is what I do on Tuesdays. Come check it out and see how I do. Looking ahead, as I look at the driver's spotlight, we've got AMS Storm in there, but not a whole lot of drivers, so I'll go ahead and take a look at January 7th, what is on the schedule for us there. Heading out to the fictional circuit of Maple Valley, the full track, and then Sebring, where we were back in week 1, we'll be heading out to the short circuit at night. What are your thoughts on that track? And you've got 2 weeks to prepare, so what do you do?
Maple Valley, I feel like it's going to be a little bit like how the Alps were. There's a lot of sweeping turns. There's a lot of moments where this car is going to understeer, so everyone's got to get a good suspension setup on these, because these cars are so prone to understeer if you do not set them up right. Sebring at night, Sebring the first time around, these cars actually feel really good on Sebring, in my opinion. And at night, I think it's going to be really interesting because the track's going to be colder, the tires are going to take longer to heat up, and I think it's going to be really interesting. I want to say the first 5-6 laps is going to be very interesting at night.
Yeah, it will. It will. I can't wait for it, especially after the superb premier racing that we've had here through the first 3 weeks. I would say this racing rivals any other organized league that you may find in the Forza community. And LSCM Chaos Fox, it's been great seeing you out on the track, doing pretty darn good out there. I think it was you. I misspoke earlier with Weiss Lancel. I think it was you that said that I'd have to catch you at the end for your 2020 resolution.
Yes,
okay.
It was.
Have you had a chance to jog your thoughts there in the midst of racing and come up with something?
Honestly, and this is in reference to Forza things.
Yeah, or anything, just whatever.
Yeah,
whatever sounds good.
Yeah,
to you.
Only because it's just all it's been on my mind lately. I definitely want to do more endurance races, and I want to push myself a lot more. Where, I'll be in like the top 5 of races like these, and not just kind of hanging back in the top 10. Next year, I'm gonna push my skill level a lot more, and a lot more than I've been doing the past 4 months. So, 2020, I want to make more of an impression in the Forza racing community. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, that is kind of in line with my 2020 resolution. I'll get to that here in a little bit after we talk with Storm. LSCM Chaos Fox. And remind me, is LSCM, they're represented in the Le Mans Esports Challenge this year also, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
They have Eternitum, Lawrence, and Butler Racing, and next month is round 2, and I'm absolutely just stoked to see how well they're going to do, because round 1 was tough, and they did really well against, high-tier pro teams, and I was super proud of them watching that race live. And round 2, I'm not even a part of the race team participating, and I'm hyped beyond belief for my team. I can't believe I'm part of such a very professional team.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, and so kudos for you being brought into the team. Undoubtedly, your skill speaks volumes to why you're representing and bearing the LSEM acronym next to your name, and you've done a great job here in season 31 of the Forza Spec Racing Series. Any last shout outs either to the team or Redbird or just anybody before we wrap things up here tonight?
I'm just very grateful to be a part of LSEM. I definitely and I definitely appreciate my buddy Redbeard in chat cheering me on. So
very cool. Well, Chaos Fox, my best to you here in the remaining days of 2019, and we'll see you in 2020.
Thank you.
All right, and I don't know, unless things change, this could be our last interview here on Virtual Auto Sports of 2019. AMS Storm, our winner, there in race number 2 out at the Brickyard after almost going back-to-back here in week number 3, unfortunately falling short out at Road Atlanta, dropping out of P1 back to P4. AMS Storm able to turn things around at the Brickyard.
Hey man, yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, race 1 just got unlucky. Second at my tires at 50%, I caught a curb, and yeah, I think Crimson alluded to it. It just flicked the cart to the right, couldn't control it. Tried to pull back at the end, got within about a second, but ran out of laps really. Race 2 was just a case of get pole position and gap.
Yeah, that was actually probably the one time that so far in season 31 with this new format where the pole sitter gets to dictate when the race starts. I think that came into play more so on this race than any other race up to this point, because whether you were looking in your rearview mirror or not, it looks like there was a lot going on behind you, so you were able to get smooth sailing right out the chute.
Yeah, definitely. I had my worried in qualifying. I knew that pole position was going to be so vital here. I know kind of T-Phrase suggested that if people kind of get in that train, they can catch up, but the slipstreams are so weak in this game, it's going to be very difficult.
And AMS Storm, you and Huracan out there at Road Atlanta. We didn't see it so much here at the Brickyard as Huracan was dealing with other things with Corvid. But what do you make of your AMS brethren out here on the track with you? And between the two of you, do you guys kind of have a bet going for the remainder of the season and who's going to win out in terms of the points?
We haven't yet. That's a pretty good idea, though. I think it's gonna be close in the points. So
it will be.
Might need to get a little bet going with him. Give us some more motivation.
And,
yeah, it's always good to have him out on the track with me. We do a lot of these kind of races together, so it's always good fun.
Does this do organized events like this, the community events, do these help prepare you maybe for some of the more upper echelon pro organized events out there, or is this something where you kind of get out here, helps keep you on your toes and keeps you very much in the thick of being good at Forza Motorsport?
I mean, it's always good to stay fresh in the game any way you can. Like these kind of events have that kind of structure to it where I know like every Tuesday night I'm going to come on Forza, I'm going to do some racing, whereas otherwise I might not be so motivated to keep coming on consistently.
Mm-hmm. And so I was talking with LSEM Chaos Fox previously, who obviously LSEM has a team there in the Le Mans Esport Racing Series. You guys, AMS, represented there in the Forza RC here in the fall, looking ahead to 2020, hopefully seeing the Alien Motorsport team out there as well for another go at it. Exciting stuff here in the Forza world, and hopefully maybe the next Forza iteration brings about some exciting changes as far as organized racing goes.
Absolutely, yeah. Ecstatic to have raced in the Forza RC this year. It wasn't something I'd expected. Really hoping we can go back in next year as well, because it was such a positive experience. I think we all just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it was great fun watching you and the team out there, and of course all the teams that were competing here in 2019. AMS Storm, like I said, I think you're the last interview here for Virtual Auto Sports in 2019. Any last words? Any shout outs you want to do?
I think you need to get Foon in here. Come on, it's got to be the last one.
I don't know where food keeps telling me that he's going to come in here for an interview, and then sure enough, come race day, he's nowhere to be found except for on the track. And sure enough, he jumps in the queue for interview. So Storm, great chatting with you. Congratulations on the win out here at the Brickyard, and inevitably, great standing on the leaderboard here coming out of week 3. We'll see what you can do for week 4 and 5.
Thank you. I'll let Foon take over.
All righty. I'm almost kind of scared to do this because AMS called him out and said, hey, Foon needs to get in here, and now here he is. Foontang, I'll let your talking happen here in the Discord, in the driver's spotlight, more so than in the track, because you've had a little bit of a rough go here in Season 31.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of seasons, I've just not been on form. But I mean, I wouldn't say I've not been on form. It's just the racing's been proper tough, innit? And I'm saying that boys out there are getting that proper quick hunting, innit? You know what I mean? It's hard to keep.
I think you cut out a little bit there, but Foontang, for those of you who are not familiar, you're playing out a character that you'll often do here on your Twitch broadcast, yeah?
Yes, that's a young man called Leon. He's not the smartest. Yeah. But he's a very friendly young fellow. Just don't cross. But he loves racing. He's all about his racing and his drifting. He owns a mechanic shop. He's a good lad.
I haven't been able to
like an idiot.
I haven't been able to zoom in and see, but is Leon's name plastered on the side over the door panel or something there on the car?
It isn't. Oh, I should have done that.
You got to do it.
Bro,
It's
I need
not
to
official.
go and paint my car, innit? Oh my, Jason, bro, come put that numbers and my name and shit on there. But oh my days, bro, I'm gonna do this.
All right, Leon. So looking ahead to 2020, we've got 2 more weeks of racing, the Forza Spec Racing Series. Of course, we'll take a 2-week hiatus before we pick that back up. Leon, what are your aspirations for 2020?
I don't know, bro. Just try and not get killed. I mean, someone tried to kidnap me the other day, so I mean, I'm just trying to avoid that, you know?
And Leon being a character that comes out of the world of Grand Theft Auto. So if you guys aren't already following Foontang here on Twitch, make sure you follow him as well. There's so many people to say to follow, but Foontang being one of them, doing some other broadcasting apart from the Forza racing world. Foontang, stepping out of the Leon character, looking at 2020, what do you want to accomplish?
In terms of life or for
Anywhere, whichever world, whichever universe.
Tricky. That's
You've
a
had
tricky
all
one.
night to prepare. I told everybody that we were doing this.
Yeah, you did as well. Yeah, and I just didn't think about it. I want another couple of drum and bass releases. Yeah, another couple of drum and bass tunes.
Yeah. Are you gonna do another? Are you gonna do another like music broadcast? Because you've done some of those, and I haven't seen any of them lately.
I've been meaning. So here's another little twist. Leon is a DJ, so that's gonna bleed through into that as well. So you know that's got a little bit of a cross there as well. So yes, I will be doing some music streams as well, but they'll be crossed with the role play. So.
Fute, I appreciate it. THR Flip Mode, folks, Flip Mode from the Forza Racing broadcast. You know him on there. He's jumped into the pit lane saying, world domination for Leon. Best way to end the year, says AMS Storm. The people demand it, says Slow Motion Fire. Of course, talking about Leon doing an interview. Futang, it's always great chatting with you, man. I tell myself one of these days I'm going to see Foontang up there in the front of the pack. You're going to make me proud, and I'm going to get you in the interview and say, hey, what a stellar race.
It's going to happen, isn't it? Probably when everyone else falls. It's going to happen one day, bro. Everyone will fall asleep or something, and I'll just win.
Foontang, great chat with you. Final interview of 2019. Boom, there you secured the
race.
Yes,
take it easy, yeah?
All right, man. Take care. Take care there, Foontang and Leon. Dual personalities. I love it. All right, folks. Well, that does it for the race broadcast. I'm gonna take a few more minutes here. I know we've got some folks who have stuck around, and I greatly appreciate that. The first thing I want to do before I get into what my 2020 resolution is, as for those of you who have maybe not gotten a chance to see the Forza Monthly broadcast, which happened last week, Chris Sasaki joined the stage there to talk about what the next new experience, the new the new motorsport experience, as he dubbed it, whether that means it's Forza Motorsport 8 or Forza Motorsport something entirely different, we'll just have to see. But if you didn't catch the details and all the wonderful nuggets that he provided in there, Here's a quick little recap.
So this last year, 2019, if I could just use this a little bit to talk about the stuff that the motorsport team has been doing.
Yes.
We had a big day this last Friday. And we had our first play test for the new experience, studio-wide play test. And some of the things, I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of features because in reality, they don't really matter in the larger scheme of things. The overall product and where we're going with it is so vastly a different and amazing experience that these things are just so low level. But the people out there, I think, will be interested in hearing some of those things we got a chance to look at. So yeah, it's been this hard road to get to where we are today, and the studio got a first chance at actually playing this new experience all day long. Had a great time with it, and we experienced our new tire model. We experienced our new tire pressure model. We have a new way that heat interacts with the tire pressure, and we actually have dynamic track temperatures affecting this all. We have dynamic rubbering in on the track. We actually have a new atmospheric pressure system that actually accurately has pressure affecting things like an air density, affecting aerodynamics and power, as well as the tire pressure. And then we have an entire new suspension system with new suspension modeling. Once again, these are just a ton of things under the hood here. And I'm missing about 15 other things that are all just under the hood that we all got to experience. And once again, that's just kind of the moment-to-moment rubber meets the road, forgive the pun, experience. But no, we actually got to play the new game.
Yeah.
And for me, that was, I think, and for the studio, probably the most memorable moment. And we'll be having more to say this next year.
And there you go. You see Flip Mode there in the Twitch chat saying a vastly different experience, quote unquote, there by Chris Sasaki at Turn 10 Studios. It has us all very intrigued. For those of us who have been longtime fans and followers of the Forza franchise, to hear that kind of expression coming out of Chris Sasaki's description of the next motorsport experience, the new motorsport experience, it really gets you thinking about what does that all entail. And as Crimson says, more sim-like question mark, because as Chris alluded to, the rubber meeting the road, that's where some of the focus has been, or at least it seems a great deal of the focus based on these early details of that new motorsport title, talking about the rubber built-in on the track. So on the track surface, as the cars go around, the rubber adhering to the track surface, making it a little bit stickier. Talks about the reworking of the suspension system, the handling, and all that. Tire pressure, barometric pressure, atmospheric pressure. That's something that, 10 years ago, when this franchise was 5 years into its lifespan, we would only be dreaming about, to hear about things like atmospheric pressure and what that's going to do to the performance of these cars in the virtual world of racing. And especially when you start to think about, gosh, what does that do to the dynamic of multiplayer racing like we saw here tonight with the Forza Spec Racing Series? What that does for downforce, slipstreaming, again, engine performance, the atmospheric or barometric pressure having an impact on tire pressure. All of this stuff, very, very interesting indeed. I don't know that it was explicitly said, but this definitely sounds like a dynamic track system, without giving it any sort of formal name, a track system that is equivalent to that of like Project Cars, with its I can't remember what they title it, but basically saying that, hey, we've got dynamic track surfaces that is evolving as the race goes on. And for anybody who has spent any time spectating or participating in racing, that's just as much a part of the strategy as building and setting up tuning a vehicle itself, because knowing what that track's going to do over the course of time can vastly change, or at least get you thinking about changing the approach that you have on that track and the way that you race other drivers out there on the circuit. Possibly rip Project Cars 3 on Expo, and if so, says Crimson. Hey, that might be already RIP as it is, with Slightly Mad Studios being being acquired by Codemasters, I think it was, right? Codemasters picking up the Slightly Mad Studio. So Ian Bell and crew heading on over to that part of the racing, the gaming world. So there you go. So that was a quick little snippet. Chris Asaki there at the Forza Monthly broadcast this past week. You do not want to miss any of these Forza Monthly broadcasts heading into 2020 because I am almost certain we're going to continue to have this kind of slow trickle, this slow leak of news from whether it be Chris or Dan Greenewalt or any number of the producers and creative directors of that team who have thoughts on or teasers for what this new experience of Forza Motorsport is going to look like, and whether, again, that is Forza Motorsport 8 or not, we'll just have to find out. Really, the title is irrelevant. It's what direction the franchise is going that matters most. You've got the Horizon franchise, but what's happening with the motorsport side of things? And then, of course, also on Thursday, we saw the reveal of the Xbox Series X, which will be the new platform heading into the holiday season of next year, which should, at least I would assume, be the debut platform for the next Forza Motorsport title. And should the next Forza Motorsport title be a day one release on that platform, I suspect we'll see a lot more footage of what the new Forza looks like with the new prowess and power and performance of the Series X, and what Forza Tech, what the Turn 10 Studios team is able to do with Forza Tech on that platform. A lot of reasons to be very, very excited, whether you're a single-player racer, a multiplayer racer, an event organizer. I think we're going to start to see a lot more information come out there. And then, of course, I know a lot of you are very curious about what's going to happen to some of the community-based features. Will we see the return of clubs? What's going to happen with storefronts, making it a little bit easier to navigate, giving a better experience, not only for tuners, painters, racers, but then just the general Forza Motorsport user. Slow Motion Fire saying, can't wait to watch this one back. All right, I've put mine off long enough, so I want to go ahead and express my New Year's resolution because I've forced everybody else to say it. Mine is quite simply this. For anybody who has known me for any great amount of time here in the Forza community, whether it be because you've been watching my broadcast here on Twitch, formerly known as Shadow Edge Media, now it's Virtual Autosports, for anybody who may have been a part of the Forza Motorsport.net forums in its heyday, me bringing a part of my passion for communication and marketing into the space of my hobbies, that being the Forza Motorsport world, has been something of great joy to me. It's been a lot of fun for me, getting to meet a lot of great people, and a lot of that really happening here with the evolution of the broadcast, getting to chat with some of the drivers and spectators and getting to know some of you folks, no matter where you are at throughout the globe, and just hearing your enthusiasm and excitement for virtual racing. I think esports racing, more specifically, it has a great correlation to the real world sport of motorsport. And so to be able to take something that is a very expensive thing to do in the real world and make it happen in the video game world has been super thrilling to see. And as somebody who grew up watching some racing happening on real world circuits and then be able to plug in and be a broadcaster and a commentator and a spectator for these races, it has been an experience like none other. It's been a lot of fun. So every time I get home from work on Tuesdays, I rush up to the computer to get the stream going and to get ready for this racing. And I hope you guys hear it in my voice, the excitement, the exuberance that I have, and just how much this stuff really brings some joy and happiness into my life. And so that being said, in 2020, where I really want to focus is something that I've done in the past, but perhaps maybe it'll become a reality, is that at some point I hope that I'll have the chance to serve in an official capacity for the Forza community, and whatever that looks like. I know there's been a lot of change in the Turn 10 Studios with regards to the community team. I haven't seen a lot of information about what it's going to look like in the future. Of course, a lot of that could already be in work, but so long as my drive and my motivation and my passion for this franchise, for this community, and for just day in and day out being able to see some of these vehicles that I would be drooling over in the real world, see them in the virtual world, and see people behind the wheels, behind the sticks, controlling them and doing their best to be kind of like very superhero-like in the video game or in the esport world. I'm going to continue to do that, and if I can support the community in some sort of official capacity, that would be the dream job. And so 2020, who knows? I've been working on it, but at some point you hope and you dream and you wish that these things will become reality. And so it's very weird to say, hey, this virtual world that I'm a part of, I want it to become my reality, because it's still a virtual world at that point. But then to be able to do it in a way that is more meaningful and that is able to get everybody as excited as I am about Forza, that would be like the utopia for me. That would be it. So that being said, folks, I won't go on and blabber about that. I hope you all have a stunning into 2019. Again, my 2019, it most certainly could be better. And so for those of you who are maybe in the same boat, I wish nothing but a much more compelling and fruitful 2020 if that was the case. For those of you who had a very successful 2019, I hope that carries on into 2020. I want us all to be safe and have fun and be able to come back in January, do some more racing, do some more broadcasting, and generally just be able to step out away from the real world for a little bit and have fun in this world that we call Forza Motorsport, and have a good time doing so. So with that being said, enjoy the New Year's Eve. Well, of course, enjoy Christmas for those of you who celebrate, or any of the other holidays here in the ending month of the year, and then on into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I hope it's filled with a lot of fun, maybe time spent with friends and family, and then get back at it in 2020. I do hope to see you all here in the chat when we do return. Please let me know at any point, either on Twitter, here in Discord, for those of you who are in the Discord channels for FM4 or even part of the Virtual Autosport Discord. Let me know how things are going. Would love to be able to chat with you and see how maybe you want to make things, what you want things to look like in your new year, in 2020. Not only a new year, but a new decade. So I know we joke a lot about wiping the slate clean at the beginning of the season. The points go away. Here's your chance going into 2020. Yes, you're still you. You don't completely erase what your history was, what your past is, but a chance to maybe turn things around for the better in a new year, or again, to carry things on just as they were in 2019 if they were favorable and blissful. But y'all take care. And if you get any more Forza racing action in, keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. Until next time in 2020, January 7th, week 4 of the Forza Racing Spec Racing Series. Until then, adios, farewell, peace, I'm out.